In compliance, excuse me, in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Notice was posted on the township's official website and posted on a bulletin board showing the time and place of the meeting. Notice was also published in the township's official newspaper, directing the public to the township's legal notices webpage in accordance with applicable law. Will everyone please rise and salute the flag, followed by a moment of silence?
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So this meeting, I'll give a little preamble. This meeting tonight is specifically to place a referendum question on November's ballot in support of or against the proposed YMCA. I'm going to try and make sure, everybody's welcome to come up. After we get done with our discussion, we're going to open it up to public comments. But again, this meeting is specifically due to statutory guidelines. We have to be there's so many days prior to election day where we have to get the ballot precise for the county. So that's the point of this special meeting tonight. So with that, Veronica?
So over the past several weeks, once we had decided that we were presenting a question on the November referendum ballot, there's obviously, the deadline is August 7th to get that to the county. So we have looked at several different ways to present the question as to what the emphasis and the focus is, so that it was a question that was well thought out and understandable by the public. Because sometimes if you've seen referendum questions, no means yes, yes means no. We wanted it to be as straightforward as possible so everybody understood what we're doing. So we looked at several different ways of emphasis on community investment, emphasis on recreation and wellness, public ownership emphasis, comprehensive community center emphasis, and voter-friendly emphasis. So there's several different ways to look at it, but we wanted something that did explain as much as we can. So what was developed among us was a question with obviously the explanatory statement, and yes means yes and no means no kind of thing. It is a non-binding, it's not a binding question, it's not the same as what the school board does. So it is to get the voter sentiment as to whether or not they're in favor of engaging in the town issuing bonds. I'll read the public question that is being proposed. Shall the Township of Lacey be authorized to issue bonds in the amount of $45 million for the construction, furnishing, and equipment of a new community recreation facility to be operated in partnership with the YMCA, providing recreational, aquatic, wellness, youth, senior, and community programming? Would you like me to read the explanatory statement as well?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. The explanatory statement is, currently the Township of Lacey is exploring a partnership with the YMCA of the Jersey Shore to construct an approximate 63,000 square foot recreation facility within the boundaries of Lacey Township. The project would include, but not be limited to, indoor aquatic facilities, including competitive and recreational pools, fitness and wellness facilities, gymnasiums and indoor sports courts, child care and youth development space, senior citizen programming space, multi-purpose community meeting rooms, walking/running track and wellness areas, administrative and support facilities, parking, utilities, site improvements, and related infrastructure. The township share of the project would be financed through the issuance of general obligation bonds in an amount of $45 million, subject to all applicable laws and regulations. The township and the YMCA will work cooperatively together to ascertain outside funding sources through discretionary funds, grants, and benefactors to reduce the general obligation bonds. Yes or no. And then a yes vote means you favor the Township of Lacey proceeding to borrow $45 million through the issuance of general obligation bonds to construct a new community recreation facility in partnership with the YMCA. If approved and the Township Committee substantially decides to proceed, the Township would own and participate in the development of the facility pursuant to a negotiated agreement with the YMCA, which would be responsible for who would be responsible for operating the facility and providing recreational, aquatic, wellness, youth, senior, and community programming. The ownership of the facility will be the Township of Lacey. The final operating responsibilities, membership structure, maintenance obligations, and public access provisions would be established in a formal agreement approved by the Township Committee. The cost of the bonds would be repaid over time through municipal debt service in the annual operating budget. A no vote means the voters are not in favor of the Township of Lacey issuing general obligation bonds and notes in the amount of $45 million. That is what the question is that has been drafted, and I don't know if you have any discussion on it, want any changes to it, or anything like that.
Mr. Connors, can you weigh in on it? On
I had an opportunity to review the proposed question drafted by your administrator. I find, in fact, that it conforms with the provisions of NJSA 19:37(1), which authorizes non-binding referendum on a general election ballot. From outside of the legal parameters, and just based on my experience in reading a number of bond questions that have been placed on ballots throughout the years, both proposed by locally and the state of New Jersey, I thought the wording of the question as proposed was succinct. I thought it avoided a lot of confusing language and wording. I think any more would be superfluous, actually. And I thought the explanatory statement was well written. So it's my opinion that both from a legal perspective as well as from a public policy perspective, that this question is written and the explanatory statement is very good.
Thank you, Mr. Connors. Anybody have any questions or comments?
I just want to make a very quick comment. The one thing is I know there's a lot of questions out there about a lot of things concerning the why. The only reason we have to get this question on the ballot is because we got August 7th deadline. That does not mean more information's not going to come forward. There's still a lot of things we want to share with the public. There's a lot of questions we know that the public wants to share, ask us and get the answers from the why. This is only because we have to have this on to the county by August 7th. With that said, that still gives everybody, us working on it, you as the public asking questions, 3 months to ask questions, bring forth concerns, or anything. But this is not, tonight's question does not mean that this is happening. You know, we chose to put this on a referendum to have the voters and taxpayers of Lacey have a say yay or nay. And I just wanted to stress that. This is just so we can meet the deadline to get it on the ballot. We still have 3 months to gather all the information that everybody is looking for.
Thank you, Bob.
If I could,
Go ahead.
Mayor? Yeah, and a lot will be said here tonight, one way or another. I know that the Y is a great organization. That said, it is, a yes vote means you want to spend the money, up to $45 million. No means you don't. And I'm going to say it here publicly and on recorded line in front of everybody. If that referendum comes back and I vote opposite of whatever it is, I don't deserve to be your servant, and you should vote me out. I will guarantee you that when that thing comes back, I will vote the way you voted. I'm here working for you. I'm saying that publicly. You'll see me in my vote when that referendum comes back, but it's a big decision, and it's an awful lot of money. Think about it. Yes, we have needs. Yes, they're a great organization, but it's got to be your decision because it's your money. If I don't vote the way you want, I don't deserve to be up here. I'm going to vote the way you want. It's $45 million, yes. No, it's no. We don't spend it. That's it. That's as brief and succinct as I can get. You always know me to be a straight shooter. You put me up here through several elections. I'm grateful to you, and I'm going to keep my word to you. And I think everyone up here will do that because I know them to be people of great integrity and great parents and grandparents. I'm not going to be too long-winded, but that's the way it's going to go for me. I'm 20% of this. That's the way I'm doing it. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, I'll talk here. When we decided to go out for a referendum, I got a little concerned because we've had referendums here where the question and the interpretive are totally confusing to everybody. And you're standing in a voting booth and you're asked to read this, and then read the interpretive, and people are waiting to vote, and so forth and so on. I thought this was one of the better ones, best one I've seen. The interpretive is very good. The question is succinct, and I would tell you to focus on the explanation or the interpretive, because that's where it is. I mean, it's not legalese. The public question is basically legalese, because we have to meet the standards that the state of New Jersey requires us to meet. And then with the explanatory statement, we can go into further detail. So I would tell you to focus in on that. Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, and just to summarize, we hear it all the time. Do you want to?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I heard somebody say we should have voted our true feelings before this. We as a committee together, we have to venture out a lot on different things to see what's best for our town. That doesn't mean that we're always right. It doesn't mean that we're trying to push something down your throat. We just have to venture out to see what works for us here. It, again, will be your decision, and that's why we're doing it this way, so that it is a decision made by the public. It's not our decision, it's your decision. And whatever your decision comes back as is what we'll follow through with. At least I know that's what we've discussed, is everybody here has a vote on once it comes back, and if it's a no by the people, then it's a no by me, because I'm going to follow through with what the people want, okay? But I know I heard someone say in a discussion here, why didn't we just not get involved in this? Well, it's our job to step out of our, as I call it, the arena, and see what is out there for our township. It is our job to do that. It's not an easy job. I tell you that right here and now. To sit in this position is not an easy position, because you've got a lot of people looking at you, wanting to know why you did this, why you did that, how come. We try our best to do the best for this town, and I think by our public works, our police, our township building, we show what we are about in this town, and it's making our town look like it belongs looking, like a good town, a great town to raise your children. We're on the top 10 list in the state of New Jersey of a place to live. I know that maybe you don't agree with that, but it's the truth. I read it all the time. People want to come to Lacey Township because it's a beautiful town. And I raised my children here, and I'm very proud of it. And that's another thing. Please be respectful tonight. When someone's up talking, let's not have everybody having something to say. Let's listen up to what everybody has to say, because it's important to hear everybody's thoughts, that they're entitled to them too. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Peggy. Yeah, as I started to say, we hear a lot that we're not transparent, we just do what we want, but we're clearly trying to give you as much information as we can. We're putting it out on referendum, we're giving you the choice, and whatever the public decides is what we'll abide by. And with that, I'm going to open it up to public comments. So, just please state your name.
Mary Teal. I've been down here permanently now for 8 years. However, I grew up here in the summers. So I've seen the town go from nothing to what it is today. With that, though, I believe you're putting the cart before the horse. My first town I lived in was Ringwood. Very rural, very high taxes, no commerce. We wanted a YMCA. It was the people that wanted the YMCA, not the town. We did a master plan committee. We did a survey of the town with a master plan, long range, and that was the one thing the town needed. Even though we had 5 huge lakes, 2 smaller lakes, we had plenty of water, but we needed a facility. We ended up not being able to do it, even though we ran programs for a couple of years, because we didn't have the infrastructure. We had no sewers, no water. We just couldn't do it. But they still ran programs within the community for us. I've been on the school board. I worked as a community leader in my section of town to enlarge the Monksville Dam. I was president. Then it got enlarged, if anybody knows any of that area. The dam was put in for the Wanacue Reservoir. It was too narrow for roads. I ran the committee to get that wider so you could pass 2 vehicles on it. My next town, we had a YMCA would come in to run a state facility for autism for the community. not for the school, but they used the pool and rented it out. Somerset Hills YMCA did that. I've taught scuba, swimming. I've worked at the YMCA itself. I've belonged to many YMCAs over the years, so it's a good thing. I'm 110% for a YMCA in town. I am 100% against the town paying for it, right up front. I think the town needs it. I'll be honest, I think the town needs it. I have a real problem, as having been taught swimming and scuba, to see all these drownings. It seriously is. My kids swam by the time they were walking. It's something that's very important to me. We have all these water, and I learned to swim in Barnegat Pines, what we called the second beach, years ago. So I learned to swim down here. I was lifeguard in Sunrise Beach when Sunrise Beach had a beach many years ago. I'm talking the 60s. So I'm kind of familiar with the area. Like I said, I've seen it grow. I think the town could use it. We do have a lot of, I asked my neighbors, they're all older. We're not in over 55, we're out in Sunrise, and a lot of them say, yeah, we like that, but they do not want the town paying for it. They don't want the town responsible for it. I could see you leasing the property to YMCA and the YMCA building it and managing it, which is what they do, but not the town paying for it. We just can't afford the extra taxes.
Thank you for your comment.
Kevin Flynn, Barnegat Pines. Thank you for reading the ordinance, or the referendum, Veronica. You mentioned about they would maintain the building, but you didn't say that they're not paying any rent. Is that true?
So, right now, the township would be owning the building.
So they're not paying rent?
No.
So we're stuck with the $45 million bill?
So they're operating the building. It's our building and our property, so they're operating the building.
Yes, so they're getting a sweetheart deal. They're gonna run run their business out of it at the taxpayers' expense. Yep.
You want to frame it that way?
Yep, that's layman's terms right there, Steve.
Yeah, please.
That's layman's terms. You own properties. Will you build me a house and I can live in it for free and just maintain it? No. So you don't run your business that way. Why would you come here and ask the taxpayers to give them a sweetheart deal, have a building for free to run their business in it, and at our expense?
It's
It's not a smart business. You're a businessman. How is that a smart deal?
This came about from a number of years ago when we were revisiting the entire municipal complex, and we wanted to get the tax ratables from Lacey Road off Lacey Road. We're losing money by having the properties that we have where they are. So the ideal property is right next to Gilly Park to create a town center. And at the time, we had, I think it was 3 buildings in, a new town hall, new police station, and an indoor rec center, not a Y, an indoor rec center, for approximately $60 million. In that time period, the Y contacted us and said, hey, do you think we could partner up? Is there an opportunity to partner up? That's how that came about, and that's how we got to hearing it.
So we're stuck with the bill for 30 years. After the loan's paid off, what are we talking here? 70, 80 million dollars when we're all said and done?
Well, so right now, on our budget, we're anticipating a payment of about $3 million, I think. So that's about, right now, on our total budget, our borrowing is about 0.5% of our budget. The vast majority of your tax dollars are to employees and benefits. So when you're complaining about taxes, it's the employee costs far and away, everything else. So it's about 65% of the budget, please. So again, our credit rating is the highest rated by Standard & Poor's. Our collection rate is above 99.9%. So, the township does have the ability to pursue a capital project, which is what you would like. That's the idea when you're doing a major capital project.
The roads in this town are falling apart, and we're worried about building the wall.
We pave roads every single year. We're paving
Not like
Main
we used
Street.
to. I've been around since the
I-
last time, Steve. We don't
Okay.
pave anywhere near the amount of roads that we did when Casey first came here.
That-
We're
so
spending
that-
over millions of dollars a year
So
paving
let's-
roads.
we're paving-
We're going right back to pre-Casey Parker days when the town's roads were falling
Because
apart.
not every, because if we authorized, I mean, I'm making up numbers, we're gonna pave like 50 roads, we could, the subcontractors couldn't do it, you guys couldn't do it, you wouldn't be able to keep up with it anyway. So right now, we're doing Haynes Street and Penn Avenue. We keep up with our maintenance every year. I mean, we do it on budget meetings.
Not enough, though. You're falling
That's
behind.
right, you said, so you're saying.
Casey's got a list
you're
a mile
basi-
long of roads that gotta be
you're
paved,
basically
but we only
saying-
do a couple, because why? Because most of it's paid for grant money.
Well, you're saying the same thing. This is just a choice about where we would like to put capital improvements and the
Well, your
why.
infrastructure is more important than adding on some more
We're,
stuff.
right now, we're redoing the dam at the Third Lake. We're redoing Bamber Lake Dam. I just got done saying we're paving Haynes Street. We're paving Penn Avenue. What else are we doing? Yeah.
Bulkheads.
We're doing the bulkhead, street end bulkheads. So
Equipment.
yeah. So I don't, buy that argument or understand that.
All right, well, this is a sweetheart deal for the Y. They're getting a brand-new building for free. They just have to maintain it. We're paying for it, people. So,
That's why it's going to referendum.
that's right. And now that you say that, Pete, thumbs up, man. You stood up and you told us where you stand, however it comes out. Peggy, same thing. Now I'm going to go down the line. Bobby, if it comes out no, how are you voting?
To start with, I've said right from the get-go before
All
anybody
right, well,
else up
no,
here.
but a lot of these people haven't been here to hear it, though.
Yes. Because you know.
I know, but I'm
even
just
before I was
trying.
up here. I'm voting with whatever the public votes.
Okay, Stephen,
So we just did this with the marijuana vote. The marijuana vote was denied 60-40. We did not go and pass an ordinance allowing marijuana shops. So if it gets denied, I'm not going to vote for it.
okay, and just to clear the air.
Same
Tim?
with you.
Okay,
People deny it, they
because we
deny it.
know, we've had referendums get denied and still.
They've come back a couple years
Yes,
later.
yes.
Then you
So I
should
just
hold
wanna-
us, then the voters should hold us
Well, that's
accountable.
Pete, you stood up and you came right out and said it, so.
Hold me,
Thumbs
if I,
up to you,
dude,
man.
I've known you for a long time. If I go bad, turn on me.
Kevin.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
No, I have the floor, but listen,
wanna
I'm
get
not
it
against
at
the
a
Y. I
time.
want to set the record straight, too. I'm not against the Y coming here. The problem is
The way you're going
the
about it.
taxpayers paying for it and them not paying any rent. We're stuck with the bill for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
No good. Sweetheart deal for them,
So we're still negotiating.
raw deal for us.
We're still negotiating a term sheet on some of that stuff that I don't have all the answers to right now.
But for the most part, they're not going to pay rent. So, hey, everybody out there in the world, vote no in November.
Hello, Louise Sampson, my first time at a Lacey meeting. Thank you for everything you do. My question as a layman, okay, Yeah.
Don't take it out, just speak it, you can turn it up, that
I'm
way.
tall,
Yeah.
can we raise it? Specific to the referendum. Well, it's
Yeah,
it's too
it's
short
okay.
for me, and I have
It's
voice
okay.
issues. Yes, yes, please.
Can't take it out of the thing, though, because then it changes everything in the back room.
In Brick Township, we moved it up from
Yeah.
brick. Yeah. I'm tall. Okay, I can't raise, I go to an ENT.
It's okay, it's okay.
Specific to the referendum.
Quiet, please.
Which is why we're here.
Here comes the techie guy.
Thank you, sir. Plus it goes to the left.
And if everybody's quiet, it would.
Really just for me in the back.
Oh, sorry. That doesn't come any closer, so. I mean, I could move this
That-
out of the way.
Can you hear me?
And then you go like
Can you
that.
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here with an open mind. I listened to the referendum. I heard the wonderful benefits of what it will do. I heard a price tag of 45, but I'm not clear what that 45 million bond, if it's the only bond we will be having, or will we be having future bonds in the future? Because that's one question. because generally, one price is never enough. It always goes up. In my experience with government, I was on a budget committee for 6 years. That's one question. The second thing is, in layman terms, if I'm assessed at $367,000, paying $10,000 in taxes right now, what does that mean to me if this passes?
All of that information is on the municipal website. We have a whole chart.
But I'm asking you for the referendum purposes because it does not explain it to me.
About 375,
A year.
it would be about $300 a year. The assessment, $300,000 assessment is about $300 a year, about.
Is that an honest, like, you really believe that's all it'll be, the 300?
The taxes, quiet, please, the taxes, it's on the website.
Because that,
It's on the township
It's
website.
based on the
Okay.
current tax rate and the assessed
the
value.
current assessment.
Yes,
So-
at 2026 number.
Okay. So in 5 years from now, that can change?
Well, it changes
I mean,
as the budget
it will change.
The payment itself is fixed. That's just it. There's a huge difference in a capital project and how we
Yes.
borrow as a, well, your,
Okay.
yeah, budget. With employee costs, it's a big difference.
But, okay, so you're saying the $45 million
It's a
bond,
fixed cost.
there won't you won't ever come back asking for more money for this project?
I can't, so the cost that we're asking you to borrow is 45 million. Can I
Correct.
predict what'll happen 20 years from now? No, I cannot.
Well, I'm talking even 5 years from now.
No, we're,
Okay.
no.
So
we're
you
borrowing
can't.
for-
So that's why I'm trying to anticipate as, someone who's living on a fixed
It's 45
income.
million. I would imagine that would go pretty far.
So, because it's clear what the benefits are, but it's not necessarily as clear what the.
Putting as much information.
Oh, I know,
on the
you did a
website.
great job with the language. That was my only question on that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that Steve is. Nice shirt.
Just tell him to be quiet.
Yeah. Everybody, please stop the talking.
Because you're loud enough. I'm in the back. What? You get in here and it's gonna blow me out in the back.
You sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Steve Barl, Lacey Township resident since 1962. I'm pulling out all the stops. I even got my hometown shirt on tonight. But before I ask questions about the proposed language, which is incomplete, you're basing it on a graph online that's from last year. The taxes already went up at least 2 times since then. So the numbers are skewed. They're not the true numbers. I liked what Kevin had to say about the YMCA. So the YMCA is kind of like a union. It's an organization that controls its own money. I was in a union 41 years, elected union official for 25 of them. In our bylaws, just like Jersey Shore, YMCA has bylaws. And bylaws tell you a lot about that particular organization. So my first question to you people, did they provide you a copy of their bylaws? Did you ask for a copy of their bylaws? So you don't know that much about the Jersey Shore YMCA, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, but I'm going to switch. I'm only going to tell you a little bit. At the next township meeting, we need to have a senior official from the Jersey Shore YMCA to explain a number of things about money. I'm only going to mention the CEO for the Jersey Shore YMCA tonight. In our union bylaws, all salaries were recorded and adjusted annually. So all the membership knew what was going out, including benefits. So I spent a lot of time looking up the benefits for the Jersey Shore YMCA. And after really looking, and I'm pretty good on a computer, I finally found out the amount of money that the chief CEO president, Laura, G-O-G-A-N-Z-E, it's either a Z or an R, Her annual salary is $472,000. The YMCA, now, a lot of people are in retirement plans. I was in one. I got 2% up front, 50% on the next 3, and everything else I had to put in. The YMCA has got the most biggest sweetheart retirement system in this country. The YMCA contributes 12% of the base salary of every administrator, every person, including the workers. So the CEO gets an extra $40,000, more than that, $47,000, 48, we're going up, into her retirement account. Now, let's look at benefits. All of us had life benefits,
Contributions are.
health benefits, life insurance, disability insurance, stuff like that. Dental, eyeglass. Okay, so the YMCA pays 100% of the life insurance and disability insurance. They pay 75% of the health, dental, and vision. Okay? They have free membership. Any YMCA employee's kid can go to the child care center at the YMCA for 75% off. Yet, we're going to pay for them to get these benefits. When they talk to you, they say, well, any profit goes back into the building and the operational expense. That's not the truth. A portion of our money goes to Jersey Shore, YMCA, upper echelon, and to the national YMCA upper echelon. That national CEO makes over $800,000 a year. Yet, every YMCA has got to have a volunteer committee of local residents to run the building. Yet, we have directors, administrators above them that are paid lucrative salaries, which I want to bring them there, and I want them to explain exactly what they do for that type of money. They make that lady makes twice the money as the President of the United States. And it don't end there.
Steve, can I just say something to you? Can you turn around talking to the microphone? Because you want this to go out to the public, not to the people in the room.
Okay. Okay, the other thing,
Well, I'm saying the
The other-
public watching it on
well, I'd
TV
rather
is going to
address
want
the
to hear what he
people
had to
that are
say.
most important to me.
I'm
You
not
guys are
trying-
important, but these
I'm not
people are
trying
more.
to be fresh. I'm trying to get it so that the people that watch it at home can hear him.
Oh, a lot of people are watching, that's
If
for
he's
sure.
talking that way, they're not going to hear him.
So, you also got perks when you're in an organization, automobiles, credit cards,
Steve,
and other perks.
You'd have to come back. Your 5 minutes.
My 5 minutes are up already. I didn't even get started. And honestly, since you guys put that 5-minute rule in, it's wrong.
Just stay right there in the front and you go back up again, Steve.
Good evening. I'm trying to get us back to the referendum. Linda Capitan. Thank you for reading, Linda Capitan.
Oh, you've been here before.
Thank you for reading the referendum. I was wondering, sometimes it's hard and something long like that. Is it possible to distribute that? Can that be public so we could read it while we're here if there's any questions? Make copies of it or something?
Do you have any on your end?
Just a question. I was trying to follow everything there. The thing that I noted that might be missing on the referendum, you talked about the capital cost, and that's great, but we know, because we've been coming to the meetings, that there's going to be a tax increase, but you don't mention it in the referendum. Many people will, for the first time, know anything about this by reading the referendum. And I think it's fair to mention that there would be a tax increase to help offset the capital spending. Just a suggestion there. Secondly,
That's fair.
thank you. Just kind of going back to where I was the first time, we still haven't gotten clarity on, since there is no rent, We talked about the capital cost, and I gleaned from the Asbury Press and the economic analysis, your 45 million bucks. They broke it down, and I was still missing a couple, and that might be the answer where the operational costs, but 36 for the hard capital costs, millions, I'm rounding. I did 5 billion in capital expenditures, so these are little numbers, big numbers. 2 million in soft costs and 1 million in furniture and fixtures. I was really surprised. Does that mean the furniture inside the Y? And Jim, what is furniture and fixtures?
That's, I don't know what to include, that we're not doing furniture.
Okay. All right, then in that case, we're at 38 million and you're asking for 45. Is the rest of it contingency in the capital budget?
Yeah, some of it is.
So there is some contingency in that borrowing
Some,
number.
whatever.
Do you know what the percentage is?
No, I don't.
Okay, from doing capital projects, that's kind of important because there's never a project that comes in under budget,
Right.
ever. So going on to the cost outside of the capital, we talked about last time, maybe you would have some clarity on who might pay for the ongoing operational costs. I don't mean salaries, but I mean, we now have this building, and there's shrubbery, and there's outside lighting, and there's security. Do we know who's going to cover those ancillary costs for this facility that Lacey owns?
The Y is, cover most of those.
Most of what I mentioned. So then, do I hear that there's not going to be additional monies coming out of the taxpayers for ancillary costs? Because you've only talked about the tax increase associated with capital. Are there any costs that are going to be in addition to capital costs that will also have to come out of the general budget?
No.
You have time to think about it. So somehow, everything associated with the building after it's built will be paid for by the Y? No. Well, that's what I'm just trying to clarify.
The Y is going to be responsible for operating the facility. They're paying.
Inside.
Yeah, gas, electric.
What about other costs?
So like.
20 years, you might need a new roof.
So on something like, so it's our building, so we would be paying.
Okay, so is there going to be money put aside in the annual Lacey budget so that we don't get nicked for
We're not, so.
bazillion?
we're-
Do
we
you hear,
don't-
in general, I don't want to go through this business, you
Yeah,
know
so-
where I'm going with
Yeah,
this.
yeah, so all those fine details are not worked out yet.
And you can't save money for a rainy day like that and have a fund that you're putting money into to do that in the municipal budget.
Okay, I'm not familiar
Yeah,
with the
that's it.
laws.
Yeah.
But I think people should know that it's not the end of the story, $300 annually increase in property tax, perhaps. Can this referendum be pulled before November? I know you have a deadline to present it to the county to get it
No,
on.
once it gets on the ballot, it's.
It is on the ballot, there's no way to get it off. So if we could review the, because I know you want to keep it with the language of the referendum, and I think we really should do some more work on that for the people that aren't as involved but are going to have a voice. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Make sure she gets one. I'm telling you.
Okay, quiet.
Quiet.
Joe Gilmore, Lane Place, Forked River. You know, I hear the amount of money, the $45 million, and it wasn't that long ago when you were trying to get this new municipal complex that you just went over building after building after building that was going to cost over millions of dollars each to bring up to snuff. And to me, it would make a lot more sense if you're going to go get money to put it into our own buildings, bring that up. I mean, to have the Y come in, pay nothing, and by the way, how much is it going to cost the average citizen in Forked River
So
to join?
there's a discount, but.
10%.
We didn't go, we're still working on the term sheet, so that will be available.
You have no idea of how much it's going to be?
So at this point, they've stated a minimum of a 10% resident discount, and if you work for a company and you have at least 20 of your employees join, they would get a 20% discount. And depending on the type of program and.
But most of the
Wait,
people.
if you let me finish. Most of the programming and stuff is depending on how involved you want to get with the Y as to what you want to do. So there is a sliding scale depending on income as well at your household or individuals to be able to have a lesser rate based on household income.
But I mean, you have no roundabout number, how much the average, because most people, I mean, you got a lot of retirement people here, so they don't work for some place that can get 20% off. And 20% off of what? You know, you can't just say, oh, you can get a discount, but we're not going to tell you what it's going to cost. That doesn't even make sense.
Well, these are things we're working on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but we should know something by
right.
now.
We're trying.
It's depending on the program, it can be anywhere from $35 to $60 a month. So if you're talking $60 a month, you're talking what? $720 a year at the high.
And then beside that,
Quiet, please.
do you have any idea of how much their income is going to be above their cost? I mean, how much of a sweetheart deal is it?
Well, again, so.
I mean, it's our building, we're paying for everything except them maintaining the inside.
They're running all.
But
they're running-
depending how much do they plan on making, and, I mean, if they could be making a fortune off a building that's ours and we're going to end up paying for it.
So we're still working on those details.
Yeah, but you got to have
I
answers.
said- I
You
said-
can't have a meeting and not have
Well, because
answers.
This
But
meeting
there's
is to
still
put, is to give.
deliberatory and negotiating, so we can't
You
divulge
could
some
have
of
an
that on.
idea.
Yeah, and like I said, is if you're not getting the information you're asking for, then vote no. That's why we're doing this.
Well, that's what I'm doing, but
Yeah,
I mean,
know. Also,
but still.
that's what we're doing.
But still, what about the other buildings? So you get a bond for $45 million for that? What about the money to fix?
No, we're not, right now, this is it. It's the referendum on the YMCA. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing right now.
Well, you need a new police station, don't you?
We do, so.
That's
yes,
right. There you go.
So the police, we do.
Yeah, get a new police station.
Yes.
Tell the Y, build their own.
Yes, we were trying that. We were trying that a couple years ago.
Well,
We tried
But anyway.
that, and people fought us
now,
on
yeah,
that too.
they didn't try a new police station. When that thing I came to where they just wanted to build a new town hall or town whatever.
No, it was a police station, a recreation building,
I
and
know.
a town hall.
For what, 100 million? Yeah.
No.
No, like 60.
Oh, there you go, 60. So now we're getting a Y for 45. Hey! All righty. That's it with me. Thank you. Vote no.
Just state your name.
My name is Jim Tricito.
Quiet, please.
I was a resident of Brick for 29 years. I moved here about 5 years ago for retirement. And I only have 2 points that I want to make. And the first question is a perception that I have that all you people I have heard say that you're going to vote by the will of the people and whatever comes on the referendum. But in my mind, I have to ask all of you who are very bright people up here, how you could even entertain how could you entertain a business proposal by the YMCA that is clearly advantageous to them and on the backs of the taxpayers' people? I don't understand what your thinking is, other than you'll get to own property, additional property in
We already own
town.
the property.
Excuse me?
We already own it.
You already own it. Okay, so you glorify the property, let's say, but we are the ones that have to pay it. And the second point I would just like to make is that I think Kevin said this about the infrastructure, we have an electrical grid problem in this town. We can't get electricity on a consistent basis.
That's
So
not-
I said
that's
this
not
back,
us.
we did this back in January. We had a meeting, I think I still have it. JCP&L is spending approximately $7 million in Lacey Township. They've been doing upgrades. I'm sure everybody's seen them along Lacey Road. They're replacing the poles, running new transmission wires. In addition to that, they're doing another 16 million in the local area, including the power plant. Please quiet. So I don't know exactly when people say that stuff is not getting upgraded. It is.
I'm not saying it isn't. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't be entertaining other business deals until we have closed the doors on the infrastructure of what's not working for us right here. And that electrical piece is one big problem that I have
But it's
noticed.
not us. You understand that?
It's us.
But I'm just as much aggravated about it as you, because I lose
Good.
power all the time where I live, okay?
Okay.
But it's not us. We're on them. We're constantly calling.
I'm
and-
not accusing you of it. What I'm saying is, don't look for other business opportunities until we get this fixed.
But it's not ours to fix, is what I'm trying to say to you. That's not part of what we fix.
You're the representation
Yes, and-
of the town and the people, and you are the ones that are in direct
We're
contact
on them all the time.
with the people who can fix it.
They probably get an email every day from
Great.
one of all of
Okay,
us.
I hear you, Peggy.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, we understand that, but that's not what we're in charge of.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, we have a difference of opinion about what the responsibilities are
Right.
in your spot as a board member and ours.
Mm-hmm.
We're a taxpayer. We can't do
I mean,
that.
the one thing with pushing and different things like Steve just said, so I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, I finally moved south too, just like you did. I only made it from Lenoka Harbor to Forked River, so I didn't get far.
Probably
But-
loses it more over there.
In Lenoka Harbor, I had no electrical issues. In Forked River, God, I had more than I had in 20 years.
Yep. Yes.
Now, with us staying on them, like Steve just said, approximately $23 million is being invested from JCP&L to try to do upgrades in the town. So we're pushing,
We are.
but we don't control them. That's the one thing. All we can do is push, 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 push. And as we know, things don't always move as fast as we'd like them to, but,
They are working on
Good.
it. Yes.
and
I hear you. It's noted.
And as far as priorities, I agree with you 1,000% in where you're coming from. And actually, I was kind of surprised when Kevin put me on the spot there for a second, because Kevin knew way before I even was elected. This is my first term up here. When I came on here, this was already in the workings, because the Y, like the mayor said, had approached the town with the idea of partnering with them when they were looking at other things. And I've always said, no matter what, when it comes to anything like this, because believe it or not, yes, I represent all of yous, I hear all of yous, and I'm gonna follow with what you say. But on the same token, this might be hard to believe, there are people that do want it. So, you know, I hear yous, I agree, I know.
I don't know if there's
They're not in the
something
room.
wrong, but-
They're not in the room. I'm just trying to be honest with you. And if there's one thing, anybody that knows me and has watched, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna sit up here and bullshit you. Okay?
Bleep that out, Dave.
No, you don't. Because you know what? I talk real to you. And I hear you.
I
And
respect.
that's why this referendum is so important, and it's gotta be real simple. If you don't have enough information, you don't like the idea, you vote no.
It's as simple as that.
And it's that simple. If you like the idea and want to spend the extra tax dollars, you vote yes. And you'll never hear me tell you how to vote, because month after month, meeting after meeting, I keep saying, listen, learn, walk into that booth and pull the lever that's best for you. And I've been saying that for over a year and a half.
And that will happen. Bob.
And
That will happen.
yes, and that's why, even tonight, I mean, we know there's a lot of questions still to be answered, and there's 3 months between now and November. And we plan on getting a lot more answers. We're trying to get the answers out there as best we can to the public. It's not always fast enough. But there's one thing I've learned up here real quick. Don't say anything unless you have the exact answer. Because assuming or throwing out an inaccurate number will bury you faster than you can think. So we're working on, like they said, the terms of agreement and different things like that. We're working on that. most of us are not happy with the discounts. There's a lot of things we're not happy with. We threw numbers back at them, but we don't have that worked out yet.
Well, let me just go back to my second point about what we're not happy with. One was the electrical grids and trying to fix the infrastructure, and the second, since I moved here, is an astronomical bill for the school system that has been neglected for 20 years, and now it's going to fall on our backs, retired people, as well as people that live in the community here, to have to pay for that. And that means taxes up. So while we got to address those two big things, there's no way that you're going to get my vote to pass this YMCA. Thank you for hearing.
My name is Frank Janda. I've been here since 1967. I was a little late coming here, but my question is, how does this benefit Lacey Township? I look at this room, I would say 90% of the people won't enter the YMCA. Am I right? I mean, so, what is the benefit to Lacey Township to have a YMCA that's going to raise my taxes, let's say $300 a year, which is going to be $400 in 2 years, whatever? So I've heard all this stuff, but what is our benefit to having this YMCA?
Well, it's an economic benefit of the township in addition to, in the question, I think Veronica, what was in the
What's the
all
economic-
all the amenities that are go into a facility like that.
What's the economic benefit, though?
Well, it is, there's a lot of economic, one, there is a portion to have interaction with the schools to help enhance the schools. There's mental health services that they provide. It is known when you do your demographics and your studies to increase house values in the community. It does bring people.
Wait, quiet.
Listen, I'm just telling you what the demographics say. You don't have to agree with me.
Yes.
You asked a question, I'm giving an answer.
In addition, there's an economic study that's been on the website for a couple months now.
And if I could, Mayor?
Go ahead.
And so, for both sides, when there's when there's competition, and there's $1 in a town, and there's competitors, then there could be a situation where people cannibalize each other. If you have a hub like the YMCA for mental health, for childcare, are you going to hurt some of the childcare facilities? Are you going to hurt some of the gyms? These are our businessmen and women, too. Now, I know that YMCA is a wonderful facility, and I know the people that are going to run it, or at least the administration. So in that regard, yes. But if we're talking about economic benefit, we have to talk about competition, too, because we're here to be transparent for our people. And that's the way I feel
It's going to
about it.
hurt some businesses, for sure. I mean, I'll go Retro Gym, you got the gym over in
And
Shoprite.
it may grow some businesses, too.
Right.
It may grow some businesses, too. It's going to be a hub.
Yeah, but
We're-
what's the age of the percentage of people that are actually going to use? I mean, we can't get kids out of the house. They want to stay on their phones and their tablets. You think these kids are going to go use the YMCA?
Well, that's part of the reason we
You
need
think they're
it.
going to
Yes,
use
they
it?
will. Yes, they will. I
Okay.
came from an affluent community and they did.
Please, quiet, everybody, please.
That's all I got to say. Thank you.
You can-
Let's go that way. Let's go that way.
Good evening.
Please state your name.
My name is Priscilla Growney. I live in Lenoka Harbor, and we have a home on the water. If this gets passed and gets built, it's going to basically push us out. We're retired, and based on the value of our house and what the taxes look like, it's going to push us right over. I don't see the need for the YMCA. We have a recreation department that has multiple sports complexes throughout the town. They send me 6 or 7 emails a month I believe tonight there was a dinner under the stars on the beach by the Recreation Committee. They have all kinds of things going on if you want to take a part in them. I don't think that the cost is just too prohibitive. Why not sell them the property and let them build their own building? Why do we have to own it? And then, down the road, there's going to be maintenance on the building because we own it. That's going to increase the taxes again later on. With regard to the school tax, it's gone up 26% in 3 years. And that was enough. But if we keep going up, a lot of the people that live in this town who are retired, like we are, we can't afford to live here, never mind use a Y. We have beaches, we have lakes, we have parks, and we have a variety of other things in this town already, which the Y will duplicate. If you were to build an indoor-outdoor swimming pool, then people would have a place to go. The high school kids could go and learn to swim, and we could have a swim team at the high school. One of my neighbors suggested a golf course. Another neighbor suggested a fourplex movie theater. Other things for recreation, other than a YMCA at the cost that is going to be. It's way too prohibitive. I, for one, will vote no. And I know many of you personally, but I still am going to vote no.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take your time.
I'm sorry, I
Yes,
fell.
it's all right. You take your time.
Just take your time going back.
Okay.
Jim Hughes, Lacey Township. I'll keep it short and sweet because there's a lot of people here that have things to say. Number one thing I want to say, I watch a lot of the meetings at home, and what happens is this microphone, this you can't hear, but at home, this sounds like a suitcase falling down a flight of stairs. People grab the microphone, and I'm like, my volume control on my remote is worn out from this thing because it's like, or it's between the two. A little piece of padding here. Yeah, a little piece of padding. And a 45-degree neck on this mic stand. 45 degree, 45. Little padding here.
All right, we
Little
got
piece
it.
of tape. Okay. 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 Thank you. Man, ignore that man behind the curtain. Anyways, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. My mortgage has gone up 20% in the last year and a half, so I really can't, on my pension, handle this anymore either. So what I'm trying to get to is that, we should just either take a breather on this or a pause or something because let's put it this way. For the taxpayers in Lacey Township currently, it feels like we're on a roller coaster going up that first big hill, and when you're about to come down that big first drop, you look on the floor and you see a bunch of bolts and nuts rolling around on the floor. And you don't know what your future's going to be. So our futures right now are depending on, on this vote. My vote is no. My vote is definitely no in a data center. That's a blankets covering fences to muffle the sound. No, thank you. But anyways, I'm just keeping it short and sweet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, sorry. You got it.
Good evening. My name is Al McDonald. I live on Hillwood Road in Forked River. I was in municipal government my entire adult life, and there were many things that I was part of, especially facility management. And before I retired, we had in the file in our 5-year plan to develop another recreation center in the town, an indoor facility. And we were going to pursue the Y coming in to partner with us. I was a member of the New Jersey Recreation and Park Association for 30 years, and that was a topic of conversation that came up at every meeting that I went to at the state level, because it was such a successful program that the Y was involved in. This is not something new. The Y does so many things very well as far as recreation, health and wellness, aquatics, all of the above. The one thing in this town that seems to be, I can't help it because I was in the business, I take notice of everything that's going on. The one thing that seems to be lacking, if anything, is an indoor recreation facility. And I know from experience that it's not just the initial cost and the upkeep, but running the programs can be an enormous cost. The Y does absorb a lot of that, and they do it correctly. I'm kind of, when I hear everybody talking about the taxes, and I know I'm definitely in the minority, if not the only one who feels this way, but when I see opportunities fall by the wayside, just like what happened with the Board of Education referendum going back, was it about a year and a half ago? When I saw that we were giving back, when I say we, I mean the community, we're giving back almost $40 million of free money, that's when I said, I guess I'm going to have to start going to meetings again, because the last thing that I wanted to do when I retired was go to these meetings, because they're the worst part of my job for 40 years, was dealing with these meetings. So it doesn't bother me to be the bad guy. You want to throw something at me, you got paper, go ahead, you can do that. This is an opportunity for us, and to just base it on your tax dollars. I know everything, taxes go up, just like everything did. But think about what you were paying for taxes 10, 15, 20 years ago, and then think about what your house is worth now compared to 10, 15, or 20 years ago. Things don't get cheaper, they get more expensive. You're going to buy a new car, not going to pay the same thing that you did 10 years ago. That's just the way it is. An investment like this, and that's what it is, an investment in the town, is very, very worthwhile. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it kind of bothers me to hear all of you say that you're going to vote. This is a non-binding referendum. You're all going to automatically vote, or some of you, the way.
If it's overwhelming no, we can't.
Well, yes, you can.
Well, I know it's non-binding, but
that's beside. But that's
quiet,
beside
please.
the point.
Stop the crosstalk, please.
And if you take a look behind me, well, me too. I'm included in this. The average age of the person in this room who's going to make the decisions, because these are the people that vote. Not everybody else comes out and vote. These people will be voting.
Right.
So we are the people that are making decisions for the next how many years? 40, 50, 60 years?
Correct.
That has to be taken into consideration, and you are the only people who can take that into consideration.
That's why we're doing, this whole thing is about that. It's about the next 50 years. That's right.
Well, I hope it is, but when
It
you
is,
say.
but again, if it's, that's just the way it works. I understand your point. Great points. That's precisely why we're pursuing something like this. But at the same time, if it's overwhelming, that's like. No.
Well, what do you mean by overwhelming?
Well, it's
One vote's enough for me.
So
That's wrong. And not always the loudest voice in the room is the correct, is the one to listen to. You have to hear it, but you don't have to listen to it.
we understand your point. We do.
I appreciate your time.
Quiet, please.
Now I'll leave before anybody
Thank you
sees
very
my
much.
Hi, my name's Pat Suriani. I live on Ambermist Way. I heard you, Veronica, mention that demographic study. I'm married 43 years. I have moved several times, corporate moves. I never once asked where the Y was. I was never told where a Y was. I was actually surprised that there is one in Toms River. It's a 15-minute ride from here. If you want to go to it, just get on the Parkway. Get off. It's right there. I don't know anyone that I've ever heard say, I gotta find the why. I gotta find out where to swim. I gotta find out where to do macrame. So that's my thought I want to give you. I have two questions. Someone said to me, and I would like you to deny or confirm, that the possibility of this Y will have sleeping quarters.
No.
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 You're not involved in it, I'm
No,
asking.
we were
them.
at the meeting.
Okay,
No,
all right,
absolutely
okay.
not.
All right, that's that. My second question is, I heard all of you, you keep saying, we didn't do this, we have to do that, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You have 3 months. 3 months to find all this out. You sat with these people. Some of these questions should have been first, not last, not what discount we're gonna get. And this is a nonprofit organization?
No.
Yes, it is. They will not pay taxes? So-
Not property tax.
We
No,
own the
not
building.
property taxes, that's what I'm saying. So you're incurring this bill that you're gonna pass on to us, and there's no property taxes coming back to help it. I get that. But other communities are getting other types of facilities like this that are private. Lifetime. They build their own thing, indoor pool, outdoor pool, family things, picnics, people all over the place. It's theirs. They pay taxes when they come put their things up. Did you ask anyone, you don't have to answer me, just a thought inside your heads. Did you ask anyone else to come in and compete? You're talking about competition. Where's the wise competition?
Again, when
Okay.
they approached us, and this is.
So that doesn't mean you don't go out and say, oh, maybe this is a good idea. Let's see who else wants to come in. Someone who's going to pay taxes.
So, because the premise is we didn't want to sell the building or sell the land, that's the premise. It was our building. So they were willing to do that.
But it's township land,
Correct.
and it's my land because I live here. And you didn't ask me what I wanted.
We're asking.
And now you are, but you've already put money out that you spent for this.
This is normal, this
Yeah.
is normal, this is normal. We authorize engineering,
But you should have had meetings about it beforehand to get a barometer of what the township wants. And now it's the cart pulling the horse.
so again, we're put up here to make decisions like this. When we get approached with all sorts of projects, that's the job.
Yeah,
is to
no,
sort of
I
filter
get
them
that.
out and decide how best to allocate taxpayer money.
And then I still go back to, if you all feel that this is something this town needs, then I think you need to find the competition to go with it. Not just say, ooh, it's the why. Thank you.
Thank you.
That guy's been waiting, he's been waiting.
He's been waiting.
Lucy.
Guy in the blue shirt.
Next.
Next.
All right.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to speak and ask a few questions.
State your name.
John Saladino, Farnham Court, Forked River. Just have a few questions. So you mentioned the $45 million bond. What would the annual cost to the town be
Roughly-
of that 45 minutes?
Roughly $3.2 million,
3.2 million. Just for how long?
30 years.
30 years. So that's, by the time we're done, we're talking about $100 million or pretty close to it.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Okay. All right, so we're talking about leasing this building to the YMCA. I'm sorry, we maintain ownership, excuse me. My apology. We maintain ownership. They will be paying a rent?
They're not, we're still under discussion with some of that stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right, so you answered one of my questions already, that the Y approached the town in terms...
Quiet, please.
The Y approached the town in terms of this project. Okay, the town, all of you thought it was something good to look into. Did the YMCA do any market research that they presented to you to
everything is
state that the town, that the town would need something like this, would want something like this? Did they present data, market research Was any of that
All
shared on the
online
website?
for you to look at.
That's on the website?
Yes.
Okay, all right. How much has been spent up until today on this project by the town?
164,000?
Well,
Well, so,
And it was spent out of grant money that we received with the opioid abatement program, that you have to do certain things with the opioid money to assess different mental health situations, different things in your community, what's going on as to what the needs are in your community. So we use the opioid money. That couldn't be used to offset municipal taxes. So you get opioid money, small amounts that we get each year, and that we've been using it for demographic studies, market studies, community needs
Okay.
assessment studies, programs in our schools. That's what we've been using that for.
Okay, so how much money does that amount to that we have available to us? And
We get a little bit shy of $50,000 a year.
Oh, so we've already used 3 years' worth of that opioid money up until
Well,
today for this project.
So the first year that the opioid money came out, there was, like, they gave you a larger sum the first year, and then from there, we get about a little bit shy of 50,000 each year, and it's declining. It is declining balance until,
Okay,
I think 2038 will be the last check that we're going to receive. I mean, one check we're getting is only like $500, because it's all the different drug agencies that, between Walmart, CVS, and all those, Johnson & Johnson, all of them had an allotment that they had to put into any town that put in at the time when the lawsuit came out. Towns had to do needs assessments and all those things in order to qualify to be even considered in the litigation in the lawsuit.
so in the end, if that was opioid money, how would spending it on this project help reduce opioid use in Forked River?
Because again, so what you do, what does your town need? So does your town need mental health services, like an additional outcry of mental health services, those kind of things? Do they need, substance abuse centers, those kinds of things? So those are allowed, the community needs assessments under the health guides and things to determine what you need in your communities. We do a LEAD program in the schools. I don't know what the acronym for LEAD right now.
Law enforcement against drugs.
Thank you. For that, we also help fund a program with the schools called the Trust Program. Those are for
Okay.
children that couldn't be in the normal classroom due to other things outside of their control. So we were funding that as well. So
Okay.
it's all based on studies and, demographics and population things that you do to determine what's needed. And these are allowed uses. There's a whole exhibit to when you get awarded the money, a whole exhibit of what you have to follow.
And we were allowed to spend $160,000 of opioid money for this project up until now. Okay,
We have to report annually to the federal government.
okay.
You're right. So
So-
so let me jump in for 1 second. And I'm okay with that because we have to do this stuff for this project if it goes through. But moving forward, this town has had some pretty difficult times with drug use and suicide and overdose. I want to see that opioid money going to the things to mitigate, because at the county health department, I'm doing these type of studies too, these assessments. I want to see that staying in-house for us, not going out to do a survey. We know that these problems exist. It's part of the logic model for all the municipal alliances. So moving forward, when we're past this, I want to see that opioid money staying here and helping our kids directly for mitigation. No, the administrator said it's going to be here till 2038. Am I wrong?
On a declining balance. So each
Right.
year, you'll see the declining balance. And we have been putting a lot of it into the youth and the programs, working with the schools. There's been several programs that we've done with the schools to assist for those disadvantaged youth and children.
Okay?
But I definitely support spending money on youth. Spending money on youth is money well spent. And I think perhaps more of it could be spent in this town for the youth. I pass basketball courts that are empty most of the time. It would be nice to see summertime tournaments, basketball tournaments,
There are.
sponsored
There
by
are.
either the high school, I don't know if they go on at the high
Our
school.
recreation
so-
department does that.
There are
I don't see
if you
much
go
of
to the first lake where the basketball court
Yeah.
is, you're lucky you can find a parking spot. They have such an active
Boy,
league
Bob court.
for youth basketball.
Okay, good.
They need to be fixed.
Good.
Okay, so going back to the, sorry, we got a little bit off topic, but with good answers, good questions, hopefully.
Thank you.
So the contract with the YMCA.
Well, we don't have a contract.
I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Okay, if we were to enter into a contract with the YMCA, is it going to be a 30-year contract like the bond is?
Well, so,
Are they
right
going to
now,
be liable for 30
we're
years?
not there yet. We're still working on those details, and that's probably not going, that wouldn't be decided until after the, however the vote comes out.
Well, don't you think that the people should know that before?
Well, we're discussing a term sheet.
You know,
so-
as a point of information before they vote?
So, we're, the best I could say is we're working on some of that stuff. That's all I can tell you. I don't have all that information right now.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of information that we probably should know at this point before we even talk about putting it on a referendum. Why not, if we're gonna build this property, you know, why not, I mean, my question is why not lease it to them, but you've already answered that, I guess. All right, there's only one other thing, that's the other question. So you mentioned how much it's gonna cost us a year. What was that number again?
3.2.
3.2. What percentage of the town's annual budget is $3.2 million?
0.5%.
Okay, all right. Okay, the other question is, you know, what happens if the YMCA was to renege on this, and we have a building now we're paying, you know, almost
That's
$100
being worked on right
million
now.
for?
That's being worked on right now. I don't have the answer right
Okay.
yet.
All right. Okay, my last comment is this, and I'm retired, but the last company I worked for was a 145-year-old company. Very successful company, I won't mention the name, corporation, worldwide corporation. They decided to buy a competitor after 45 years in business. I think it was 1865 or so they went into business. And 3 years later, they declared Chapter 11 because they took on a debt. They bit off more than they could chew, and they took on a debt that they could not afford. And I would hate to see that happen to my town that I
We
retired
understand.
to, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
Mr. Bidnick. Sir?
State your name.
Richard Bidnick, Lacey Citizens for Responsible Government. Nice to see everybody here tonight, Mayor and Township Committee members. Okay, first of all, I mentioned this at the last meeting. You still don't have answers to the questions. And how could you even possibly, you look ridiculous, putting something on the ballot where you don't have all the answers. I know you say you may have them by November, but quite frankly, that's just not good enough. And you know what? You've had plenty enough time to get all these answers together. You've been working on this for years. So it's kind of like, I just don't like, it just seems kind of shady. That's my personal opinion. Okay, so $96 million also is what it will cost the taxpayers over the 30 years of the bond. Now, a gentleman here was speaking before about, you know, how great this is, we have to look at this. I'm going to tell you something. I lost my two neighbors because of the high taxes. They had to sell their houses. I've heard another elderly woman here tonight say, if you do this, she's going to lose her house. And you know what? I care about the people who live here and keeping them in their households. And that is your primary responsibility, to keep the taxes low so the people can continue to live here and thrive. And I find it outrageous, after everything that's happened, especially with our school taxes, which none of you spoke out against, that you're asking us to have to take on another financial burden. And I have to wonder, who is going to benefit from this? And I know how politics works. One hand washes the other, and give and take. And this is New Jersey. And I just have to question. You first went after that Johnson Controls project, and when you couldn't get that through, now you're trying this. And I'm sorry, I'm all about transparency and honesty in government and keeping our government officials accountable to we the people. And you know what? It's embarrassing. We come here and you don't have the answers. Oh, we're going to figure that out in a couple of months. No, that's not good enough. It just isn't. It doesn't cut the mustard. And the people here, you know what? We can demand tonight that they do not vote and put this on the ballot this year until you have all of the questions answered that we've all been demanding. It's ridiculous. I mean, really, and you're going to divide the town. I can tell you this right now. I'm all prepared to do whatever I have to do to defeat this. But you guys are going to be the ones who suffer because you don't have all the answers. And I have to, even when I spoke to the executive director of the YMCA at the last meeting, what is the big rush? She told me she's not in a rush. You people are in a rush. And that is a concern to me. Because she told me personally, I asked her this, and she said she didn't want it to have to fail, and she felt that you guys were not prepared, and you're not prepared. And you embarrassed them. That's the way I looked at it, because you didn't have all the answers to all of the questions, and you should have at that last meeting. And I'm sorry, people, somebody has to speak up for the taxpayers. I just don't feel that you have been doing that. You have your agenda. Again, Deerhead Lake, I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. That lake, I pass every day. That is a recreational service that you should be supplying. And because the dam was done wrong because of incompetence, that lake has gone to hell, and it's unfortunate. We need to clean up the things that we already have and maintain the facilities that we have before we take on any other responsibilities. Thank you very much.
Regina?
Back there making comments.
That's your analytics.
I need an elevator.
Oh, that is very tall for you today.
I'll see if Tom's got it. Tom's coming in. Tom to the rescue.
We'll see.
This is not a good service.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, that's perfect. I'm sorry they say you shrink as your age. What can you do? Regina DeSenza, Sunrise Beach. I'm reading and listening to your public question and explanatory statement. Facility pursuant to a negotiated agreement. Well, the public has no idea what this negotiated agreement is going to contain. And that's what we've wanted to know since April, since you held the little community forum. We were also led to believe that there was a possibility this was a rental situation, and now Kevin finds out it's a freebie. I'm totally, totally against anything else that raised my taxes. I have nothing against the YMCA. I believe it's a great institution, but it's also a Christian institution, whether you think so or not. It says so on their website. There's supposed to be separation of church and state. I think everybody better go back and look at all the details of the Constitution. I'm done.
Thank you for your comments. Just please state your name.
Ann Smith, Lacey Township. This evolved in a rather crazy way, and I'm still very unsettled by it. Until, thank you. I still have a few years before I totally shrink. Thank you. So about a year ago or so, we put out a questionnaire for the township about, would you like a YMCA? And I myself took that, and, oh yes, I'd like a YMCA. But we weren't given the facts. So you have an overwhelming yes, okay, and you ran with it, all right? Now, if you look on social media, you can see that I would say, roughly off the cuff, 3/4 of them don't even realize that it would be affecting their taxes, okay? And if you look in this room, sorry for those that are not, we're all retirement age, okay? And that's why we're here, because we're on fixed incomes, okay? What I think you're banking on is the young transplants, implants that are coming in here with more money than we have, and probably working two incomes, two households, one household, and need babysitters and need things for their children to do, which is all well and good. There is a Y 15 minutes away, okay? And I think it's honorable that you're all here saying, if the township doesn't want it, we're a no. But in the back of your mind, you have to know, if you're watching social media, that the young people with money, they want it, okay? So I don't feel at this point that you're ready to put this on a referendum when, as I quoted myself before, 3/4 of the people out there on social media do not even know it's going to affect their taxes. So I would hope that you would come back with this resolution, with everything spelled out, before it goes to a referendum. Why? Who said that's not possible?
Somebody out in the audience said you don't have to answer them.
Whose side are you on? Do you have an answer?
No, so we're prepared to vote on a resolution tonight, and.
Why? But you don't have the information, and you...
We're gonna get as much information as we can between now and the election day. If you feel that that you're not provided the right information, or you don't like the information, you could vote no.
That's a hedging a bet, okay? Because I just got done explaining to you that you are hoping...
I'm not
And that's not even against hope. Well,
we understand that
you've
people-
invested a lot for something that you're unsure of.
Well, so we understand that people come from different economic backgrounds, different age groups, and there's always been a need in the town for an indoor rec center. We get it all the time for recreation.
We had one. Minus a pool, we had one. I grew up here, 1971, okay?
Bob Court, which, on the St. Pius?
No,
What?
I'm talking about the center.
We still have a community center, just in a different building, but it's not what a indoor recreation
Yeah.
facility would.
Well, the
Anyway,
one we
anyway.
had was more like one. We had functions there, we had parties there, we had a stage there, we had more there.
Well, and you can do that at the current building that we have as well. But a Y is entirely different than
I know
a
that.
meeting gathering place.
I know that.
Yeah.
Okay, but as far as giving recreation, you could put recreation there. Have that as its hub if it's inconvenient on your property back here. What I'm saying is, we have a recreation. I don't feel the need for a Y. It's mostly, it looks like people want pools. And again, I'll have to echo everybody else. Why would you do it for free? It's bad business. Bad business. So they came to you. Maybe they were looking for a deal, and they obviously found someone to bite. But we can't. We absolutely can't. And I don't know, I still have to say, I don't know why you're putting it, okay, on the ballot without all the facts, because people are going to come and they're going to vote, and you know it, erroneously, and then go, oh, I didn't know that.
If we don't put it on the ballot, you don't have a voice. Like the mayor said, if you feel that if it's incomplete, I would encourage you to vote no. If you feel like you don't have the
But are you reading
information.
the room tonight? It's a no. So why are you going through with it?
There's a lot of
Don't you
people-
want a voice?
I'm
Don't
here,
you want?
speaking my
Okay,
voice.
I want you to have a voice, and I want you to vote on it. And I want everyone to vote
But
on
we
it.
didn't
Yes,
ask
your
for
taxes
this.
will go
We
up.
didn't ask for this, and
I'm
the
saying it
people
on
at home-
TV.
Yeah.
So people need to educate themselves, look at the information, okay? And then you can vote no.
You know, like I said, I've been here a long time, and I've seen things try to be pushed through, and this is what it feels like, and I don't like it, okay? I want to be totally informed, okay? And you got to weigh it. Weren't we taught that? You got to weigh everything.
Would you
So
rather
you're
it
giving
went
for
through
free?
with no input from the town? That's what it sounds like.
No, I think it should be dead in the water tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Barry, then you. Barry. State your name.
Sure. Barry Bender, somewhere in Lacey Township. We're not allowed to say it anymore. First of all, you know where I stand on this. I'm dead set against. Oh, dead set against it? Are you kidding? Please. Anyway, the point hasn't been brought up that I've been talking about. We've overdeveloped this town to the point where when I come home from work, occasionally it'll take me 2 or 3 lights before I can make a right turn on Route 9. and get to where I live on Bay Ave. Oh, I can't say it, sorry.
Historic Bay Avenue.
Anyway, when they first started talking about the YMCA, it was great for the people of Lacey Township, and, oh, it'll supply all these things. But we're not in a vacuum here, okay? People are going to be coming from out of town to use the YMCA, probably from south, because to me, I don't understand why the YMCA would come looking to build another facility when they have one 15 minutes away. I mean, how many drugstores have we seen go out of business in this town because they built so many together? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense to me. And a comment was made that, you know, you're not going to tell anyone how they should vote, et cetera. Well, I think the little advertisements we have in the back of the room certainly goes against that. You know, whatever the 100.
What do you mean?
Right there. It's an advertisement for YMCA.
You know what? Because I made that comment.
Yes, I know.
Yes, and I never, no matter what pictures are up here or anything else, you know me well enough, you know,
I know
I'm
you.
not. And, you know, I don't know how many times you say, you know, the last person asked why. I'll tell you what, this was in motion when I came on here.
Right.
We spent a lot of times been doing it. We're working on a term sheet, which I wish we had the answers already, but now we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of the term sheet, okay? I would like to, I mean, I've only been on here a year and a half. Okay, would I wish we had more information tonight? Of course I do. Hopefully we'll have as much information as possible by November. And if we don't, just hear me out. I'm talking back. Because it's like Peter said, if we don't have the information, don't vote for it. I don't blame you, because you know what? I don't want to be dealing with this next year or the year after, because you know what? There's a lot of business we got to handle. There's a lot of needs. If you want this, great. If you don't, that's fine with me, because somebody asked before, you know, with the non-bonding resolution. Kevin yelled it out in the back. Only takes one vote. Whichever way it goes, the majority is who I'm here for. Because just like many of you out there, you know, I'm also a retiree. I might be one of the younger ones. I'm 70.
Not yet.
Well, okay, Monday. But the thing is we just vote with your heart, learn what you got to learn, and let's move on, because there are other things we got to do, and there's a lot of things we got to look at. And the shame of it is I think we can learn a lot in the next 3 months. I want to see the why people here so that the answers can be given. But I don't want to be dealing with this again next year. We thought we even had a little more time to get this question together. And when Veronica had checked with the county, they gave her the deadline date, and that's where we're at. So it's either, okay, the room wants us to put it, you know, the one thing is when I ran 3 years ago, I only ran for one reason. I was born here, I love it here, I love the town. I'm not up here for the glory or the money. And I honestly believe in my heart the only right thing to do anytime you're spending any huge amount of money like this is let you people make the decision. And whatever you say is what I'm going to hold to. And that's not debatable.
Right.
That's not debatable. And it's the same with quite a few other people up here. If you don't have the information, it's like anything you do in life. Everybody keeps pointing at the age of the people in this room. We're not youngsters. We've learned. We lived life. If you don't like what you see, don't vote for it, because that is what's wrong with politics. People do not learn. They don't pay attention. And when they go in the booth, they don't always make the right decision. If you don't like it, don't vote for it. If you like it, you vote for it.
That's not what I was talking about.
Please stop the crosstalk.
Okay. What I was talking about is advertisement for the YMCA in the back of our municipal.
Well, the why, I mean, you know as well as I do.
But
most
it
people-
indicates that the
Most people like the
people on
Y,
the
it's a building
township
issue.
want the YMCA. That's what it indicates for me.
Sorry, okay, so
It does.
We've gotten blamed before because we haven't been transparent. We don't have any information out. We're not doing this, we're not doing that. So we tried to put things out on banners, on our website, or whatever, and you're still not happy. I don't get it. You wanted us to be more transparent.
That's
You wanted-
advertising for the YMCA.
You wanna say-
It's not something neutral.
Wyatt,
It's advertising for the
It's on the
YMCA.
website, all that information.
Ma'am, sorry, you gotta come to the microphone.
No, that, he disappeared.
Bob's using the facility.
I understand and I believe exactly what he says, but this is advertising for the YMCA inside our building, okay? So if it's neutral and there's, it's going to be decided by the people, to me, that doesn't go that direction. I mean, years ago, when the Home Depot was coming in, someone used to come in wearing a Home Depot hat, okay? Same kind of thing. That's what this is for me, all right? My vote's going to be no, and anybody I can talk into voting no, I will do so. Thank you.
Go for the, go for the Eagle.
Somebody hasn't spoken.
Get Tony.
You're good.
I can wait.
Oh, no, you,
Okay.
just state your name for the record.
My name is Elaine Brandt, and from Lacey, Forked River. All right, my question is, I had a bunch of questions. A lot of people answered my questions, which was really good. I don't understand how you people, our committee, can put this out there without having all the information. When you go out and you buy something, what do you look at? You look at your description. What am I buying? What am I purchasing? Did any of you really look at the description and say, okay, we have to know that description before putting it out there for a vote in November? You're putting a vote out there, but you're not, all these questions, not all these questions are on the internet. That you're up here admitting, saying, I don't know. How could you not know and put it out there for us to vote on?
Because as Bob said, we don't want this to carry into next year.
Yeah, but, you know what? That's not our problem. That's your problem. You gave this to us.
Again, we've been saying it all night. If you don't have the information, then vote no. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
but
like-
not everybody knows this. We do, but I just said, not everybody knows that. Who all knows that you don't know all this stuff that everybody's asking?
Madam, there's a number there. It's $45 million. It's going to cost
I'm
that
talking
kind
about
of
all
money.
the other little questions that everybody's asking, and you don't know all the answers. Look, I know you're not going to know every little answer, but there's a lot of I don't knows here. A
Well,
lot.
We're-
How
we're-
could you do that?
We're working on the term sheet right.
Yeah, but-
Let me,
Go ahead.
because I'm going to answer you, I'm going to actually be able to answer your question. We're working on a lot of the details now, back and forth with them. We want the answers. I myself want the why at every meeting between now and then, because if there is questions, we know these questions are coming up.
Yeah, but you're voting on this for tonight to go on November, but you don't have those answers.
Madam, if we
The
pull the...
questions, we learn the questions as you ask them sometimes, okay? Like the last meeting, there were some questions we didn't have the answers to. We hear you, we write them down, it's on tape. We want to have all these answers for November. And to say people don't know, I don't do social media. I do know what's on it, but I don't do it, and I never will. Because the thing with social media is 50% of it's correct, and only 50% of that's accurate.
How do you think?
So 25% of it's accurate. But as far as people knowing,
How do you think a lot of people know? How do you think a lot of people know? Social media. Am I right?
Well, yes, and I know that. I'm not knocking social media for that reason. In the last couple weeks, I'm not even on social media. I don't care if I'm out at Tysha Shoals.
Somebody
I'm
mentions it to
around
you.
town. More and more people. I grew up in this town. I know a lot of people. We all do.
I know.
I've never been barraged with so much in my life. And these are people that
It's
usually
important.
don't even know. And know what? I'm glad they're paying attention. I'm glad they're asking questions. Because you know what? And I keep telling them, some of them I know are voters that don't go vote. And I tell them, go in November and vote, because it's very important. But I'm actually shocked at this juncture, some of the people that are coming out of the woodwork and asking questions and different things like that. And I'm sure the whole committee wants to see the why here to be able to answer some of these questions that even we may not even know.
Could you imagine what it would be like if we didn't have a question out for the people? At least you know now, it would be $45 million.
No, I understand that. I'm
And
talking
so
about
all
those
the
other-
people, in my own humble opinion, I've been accused a lot not being humble, it would absolutely pass if there was no question, because then everybody or a lot of people wouldn't know what it costed. So by having this basic information out there, it gives you a voice.
Okay, the other question I have, and it's just got brought up tonight, how much of the YMCA is going to be about drug addiction, besides our schools, who really should be our schools for years? You know, we didn't have a Y, so we rely on our schools for all of that. And Veronica mentioned that money, the opioid money. How much is the YMCA going to deal with drug addiction and but you using the opioid money what is it, a grant?
It's called a protective factor. When kids have something to do, it keeps them away from nefarious activity. That's
Right, so how
that's
long
an
have you had this money
evidence-based
for? How long
statement.
have you had this money for?
Since 2017, when the litigation
So
started.
what have you done with that money for our crisis in town, which is horrible, horrible? What have you done with that besides giving how much money? 160?
She did explain that she
160.
did, we run
Right.
2 programs for our school
We
system.
run programs with the school
I know
systems,
about the
and
school
we have-
systems
and we-
programs.
And we also run programs
My
with-
granddaughters tell me it's baloney.
Well, I would
Okay, I'm just
respectfully
telling you.
disagree.
Well,
I got
they
the
sit up
police
here and
chief
they-
back there,
No,
and I
No, I'm
know
talking about a
what he
lot of things that are
provides.
going on. It's not being addressed like it should be. I'm just saying that. But the $168,000 to put to the YMCA that should have been totally for this town, for that, is unacceptable.
Hard to argue that.
Unacceptable.
Quiet, please. Say your name.
Robert Samuel. I live right around the corner. So I just want to say it's been brought up a lot. You know, I know a lot of people here are of older age, and it's been mentioned that, you know, that this demographic doesn't like it. So as a young transplant who's only been here about 4 years, my wife grew up here, I hate this idea. I'm not going to use this facility. I have a young daughter. There's never a use for it for us, frankly. I think we have a lot of benefits already in the community. You know, I basically wrote up a quick, you know. Lacey, we already have a lot of youth programs for all ages, plenty of recreation spaces, plenty of homes that own their own pool. We have the public lakes, which I'll get into later, and we have proximity to plenty of beaches. Many of the services that the YMCA, that there are some they don't have that we could benefit, that I've heard that, you know, I think the YMCA in general is okay, but we already have a lot of things that they could provide. It's going to be a duplicate of things that we're already paying for or other organizations provide. And I just don't understand, you know, really why there so much of momentum came up to this. In my life personally, passing, I've talked to a lot of people already about this idea. I've heard, you know, Facebook, personal talk to people, and I've heard a lot of people that like it. Not a single person actually lives here. They live in the local communities. They are not going to be paying the taxes for it. I looked up this survey, I guess, that was for the interest of it. I looked on Jersey Online. Was that the one,
It's
correct?
on the township website.
It was what?
It's on the township website.
Okay, but the Jersey Online talked about it, and they.
I don't know what that is.
And it's a Jersey Shore Online, and it mentioned, I guess, that there was a survey that included people that had nothing to do with Lacey.
Yeah,
You had
there
to
were
put your
people surveyed that did not live here. I disagreed with that, but
Yeah,
it happened.
so that's a little disingenuous when you're talking about the interest, because the people that are here are the ones that are paying for it. Who cares what everybody else in the area?
That was my opinion of it, yeah.
So, yeah, so that's it, that's one thing. For the childcare services, we already have several. My daughter goes to one. They're very affordable. I work at the base, and I thought for the longest time they provided the most affordable, and I found out, actually, no, I could get it better in town. Now you're adding competition that may actually bring some of these places to the brink. They work on very thin margins, and some of them, they've been here for decades. And this is going to be very close to them, so that's a major issue. What if this goes under? What are you going to do with the facility? It's happened before, YMCA's. I mean, the Tons River one alone, I think, they had to close one of their pools or something because they couldn't. Yeah, so there goes like one of the biggest benefits of having this is there goes the pool. I mean, location, you want to put it right over here behind the Wawa area, that's already tight as hell. I mean, I drive by there all the time. Constantly, I'm potentially getting into a car accident from people pulling in and out. Kids are always constantly on the move. I don't think it's a good location. If you're going to put it alone, I agree, you said you want to get a different area from Route 9, but I don't think that's the spot. Now, it's like, if that's the land you have, well, I'm sorry, I just don't think it's a good fit. All three roads lead to a tight location. From Lacey Road, you got to turn a left. That leads to often a traffic buildup. From Manchester, like I mentioned, it's very heavily trafficked, and the other areas of the newly built housing, apartments or whatever. Business benefits, I've heard, touting that there's a benefit to businesses. You did a study, I don't know the specifics of the study, but just from kind of looking at it, if a lot of people coming here are not from Lacey and they're from outside the area, they're probably not going to go down 9. They're going to come from the Parkway. What businesses are between where the YMCA is and the Parkway? JT's Bagel Hut, a gas station, and a liquor store. That's it. What? A vet. They're not going to go to ShopRite. They're not going to go to like where a lot more of the businesses. They're just going to go in and out. I mean, it's not, in the end, they're really not going to be touching much. I love JT's. They already get a lot of businesses. You know who's going to get the most business? Wawa. Guess who doesn't need the most business? Wawa. They're already packed. Everybody loves it. You're just going to make it even worse and more congested. And everybody, and a couple things I want to mention is, potential benefits. It's already been mentioned, but, number one, like things that we could do with this money instead, clean and fix the lakes. We have the gorgeous lakes, exception of one, I believe you could swim in, maybe, that's the blow-up
You can
things.
swim in 3. We're the only, I oversee the compliance for those lakes. Every week between Memorial Day and Labor Day, they're tested. We have the cleanest lakes in the whole county. We have 3 of the licensed lakes. So we have Forest Row Avenue, Lake Barnegat where the Whibbit is, and Bamber. In my memory, I think one of them exceeded one time in the last 2 years.
But I think most of them, don't they have their several signs that say, like, about not swimming due to the contagions?
No.
I've seen them recently.
It's only Deer Head. It's not, Deer Head is not a recognized bathing beach.
And if it does get to a certain level, we do have to put an advisory note out once in a while, but there are limits, as Mr. Curtolo says, that then we do have to close, but we haven't been closed, as he said, in, I think, over 2 years.
Okay.
But sometimes the bacteria level, if we don't get the response back from the lab quick enough, we might have to, especially after a rainfall, put a note out to advise them.
OceanCountyHealth.gov, go look at the last 3 years.
All posted
It's
there.
all posted.
Okay. Well, I think that, and then the schools it's mentioned, I know I'm running out of time, but it's, just to finish my statement, that the schools are important. I know you keep hiking the taxes about it. I know a lot of it has to do with the state, and it's not our level, but I think the school funding should be more priority, not losing sports, et cetera. That is a more benefit than what the YMCA is going to do in the long run. So.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Phil.
What about Steve? He's with the Eagles. What about your boy in
Please
the back?
state your name for the record.
Lynn Foley Herring, Lenoka Harbor. And I'm not in this particular age group, but I'm married to one.
That's great.
I'm not opposed to a YMCA. I just want to get that out. I'm not opposed to a referendum. What I'm hearing everybody say, and maybe I'm just a simple person from Wisconsin and calls a spade, is it sounds like you're looking for us to see if we want to continue on. Not, are we going to vote for 45 million right now?
Right.
Should we continue on And that should be the referendum vote. I know you don't want to continue on with this next year, but you've got to give us a chance because you've got renters in town that probably don't care if they're coming to meetings, but what they may not realize is that if their property owner has to pay more taxes, what's that going to do to their rent and increase their cost of living in town? So I'm asking if you are going to do a referendum in November, you tone it down, because I understand market studies, and I don't disagree that things came out of what we can do better in this town. It just seems like this is too quick, and you're asking us, should we continue to go forward, and it potentially is going to cost $45 million, or should we stop right now? Yes or no? So just take that into consideration, please, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. State your name.
Tony Rizzoli, Sunrise Beach. I don't want to talk about the why.
You can't.
I want to talk about the land.
Okay.
That particular piece of land is owned by the township. What are the dimensions?
It's like 10 acres. I don't know what the dimension.
10 acres.
Approximately.
Okay. Now, the Johnson Control deal, we were looking to build a community center, police.
Same idea.
At the same land?
Yes.
Okay. What happens if we don't utilize that land? What do you see, and you see, because both of you were on a planning board at one time, right? What do you see in the future for that land? Is it in jeopardy of something? Well, answer the question, guys. You want to be honest.
So you don't know you can't predict the future that far out. So, I mean, I've said it many times before. If you would have asked anybody even 10 years ago that was on this committee, or maybe not 10, 20 years ago, whether the township would be building affordable housing units and be responsible for building them, they would have laughed at me. But here we are. So
I
you
didn't
don't know.
laugh.
You don't, well, I'm not saying that could happen. You just don't know. You're trying to pre-plan. I've said this a bunch of times in my comments. One of the biggest complaints that I've gotten over the years is how the township is developed. We did not have a historic district, just the way some of the properties on Route 9. We did not have a town center for one reason or another. That is literally the last piece of property that the township owns of any type of size. We really don't own anything anymore. And that is the only spot that you could possibly maybe do some sort of town square, town center. It's adjacent to Gilly Park. This area of town is essentially the center of town at this point. It's in close proximity to the schools. The Gilly Park is where everything occurs. And so that's it. That 10 acres is the last piece of property to address some of these issues. It doesn't mean that it can't stay vacant for the next 20 years or 50. You just don't know what's going to happen. That's why we're doing this pre-planning now. But if, again, people don't want it, you're given the opportunity to vote on it.
Again, are you afraid that some developer is going to come in and put us on?
I'm not afraid of anything. We get presented with stuff. We have to make decisions in real time about whether to go forward on different projects. We've done this with Orsted on the windmills. We do it constantly with Holtec and the power plant. These types of decisions and being involved that's what the job is. And so that's why this is being presented.
Tony, I know because you addressed me and Steve, and of course we're both still on the planning board. And, he's lived here most of his life. I've lived here all my life, so yeah, we've seen a lot of change. And knowing how the state operates, my answer is yes, I am in fear.
So am I.
Because I've seen, even before I was involved at this level through the years, the state force things down our throat. Luckily, through the work of especially Veronica and Steve, with the numbers that we're required to have, low-income housing and multifamily dwellings, they've gotten that number down. And we should be good till 2035. The problem is the state keeps moving the goal line.
Right.
And as time goes, if they tell us we need another couple hundred affordable housing units, and we have land sitting vacant,
Let me just, so it's, finish your, yeah, good, finish.
vacant, it could be in jeopardy.
Right.
Now, am I in fear of that? Yes. Could it happen? Maybe, maybe not. But part of the thing is right now, we are the elected officials up here, and we're trying to look ahead and try to make some good decisions on the best thing forward for the town, because, you know, growing up here, you know, the biggest thing any of us all here, and why'd you move to Lacey? It's a great place. When I was in grade school, there was 4,000 people in town. Now there's 4,000 kids in the school system. There's 30,000 people in the town. So progress. We don't have much land left. And the state, as we know, you know, recently some other things have come up. We do have say, but if the state, the federal government want to do something different, they just walk right over us.
So just to piggyback on that, and it's not just about affordable housing. My point is you don't know what could go there. So the
Correct.
state could come in and say, you know, you have to use solar power to electrify your buildings now, and then we put a solar field there, or we have to, or we're not allowed to use the dump in the back anymore because that's brownfields or something like that, and now we have to move the whole recycling center. It's not that that would be the worst thing to happen, right? If there's a solar field there, or we have to move the dump, it's just not ideal.
Again, it's moving very, very quick, and there had to be some other reason to want to move that quickly. And I'm looking at it, back in the early 60s, 287 got cut through South Plainfield, okay? My uncle had a house that he was going to build. 287 took an eminent domain. He put in a foundation. He got paid 3 times the money by the state, because all he had, he put in the, I know, I mixed the cement to put in the cinder blocks, 3 times the amount. The state had to pay him, only because he put in a foundation. Is there something we can do to protect it? Is there something outside of the box that we could do to say, no, it's partially developed?
No, there's
It's
stuff
partially
you could
developed.
sell
We're
to-
going to put a community center, just not now.
There's stuff you could do, you could sell it to the county, it's, like I said, it's not ideal. Well, the county may not buy it, but that's beside the point, it's not ideal, that's what I'm.
All right, I was
It's the
just
last-
looking,
It's our last piece of property, period.
if there was another way to protect it, long range, until we,
Well, even with a park that's already developed, the state can come in and tell you you're putting your.
Oh, I understand
affordable
that.
housing there. So there's, you know, if the state wants to make these decisions, they're gonna make these decisions.
Well-
We've seen some of the legislation that they're trying to take over local zoning.
So, just to, again, not to keep harping on this, but Veronica's right. So there's legislation pending right now for churches and nonprofit organizations to put to, what was, they're allowed to exceed, ours local zoning, I think, is 8 units per acre on multifamily, and they're proposing to go to like, what's this crazy number, 20?
20 units,
And,
yeah.
and,
At a
and go to
site that's a church.
and go to 4 stories. So we're not, so it hasn't passed yet, but they put this stuff in.
They'll allow you to put
That would,
accessory
that would,
dwelling units
that
on
would
your property.
supersede local zoning. That's the point of all this. It's the last, I understand if you don't want to vote for it, it's the last piece of property in the township to do any kind of town center or town square. That's it. If everybody decides you don't want that, again, that's the town's
unless we
decision.
can come up with some kind of a scheme to beat the state, we got to be creative. Try to be creative, guys. Thank you.
Thank
you, Tony.
Anybody who did, yeah,
There you go. You were nice, Tony.
state your name.
Dennis Kostelakis,
Quiet, please.
Sorry, what was your last name?
live in Forked River.
Sorry,
Repeat
your last name?
Kostelakis, with a K.
Nice Italian name.
Okay, so I grew up in Newark. No lakes, no swimming pools, nothing but cement. My father and mother took me to the YMCA, and that's where I learned how to swim. So the YMCA is a great place. We moved, I was married, I moved to Toms River. I lived there for over 50 years. There's a YMCA in Toms River. I worked, my wife didn't work. We had 2 children. We couldn't afford to join the YMCA. Can the people in Forked River, after paying $300-400 more a year in taxes, pay an additional amount to join? And do you even know the amount of money does it cost for a yearly membership for a family of 4?
Well, one of the things in the term thing that we counter-offered, which we haven't had their response to yet, is we're not happy at their initial offer to us.
Well, we're paying,
They got it,
What is the number?
do we,
10%
No,
off.
what is the number to join a family of four for a year?
this is what I'm asking because we
I don't-
couldn't,
I don't know the
we
exact
wanted to go to the
membership.
YMCA.
Quiet, please.
Whatever it is, we're working, because right now, the initial is 10% off the membership, plus priority to Lacey residents and Lacey businesses. It's like $65 a month. So for just, yes.
Okay.
And like I said
You understand
earlier, if I don't have the right exact numbers, I'd rather not say them, because numbers are being thrown around. In our meetings, sometimes numbers are thrown around. That's one of the term things that we're actually in process now, because we're trying to get the exact numbers. We don't like some of what they're proposed, so we're counter-offering.
I understand that, but the overall income
I'd like
of
to see it
Forked
free for
River,
Lacey
and
residents.
when I was and we had our kids, we couldn't afford to go to the YMCA. How do we know that the people in Forked River are even going to be able to afford to go to the YMCA at this point? We don't know that, because
Hopefully
what is the
that's-
average income and what is the price
Hopefully
for
we're
them to
gonna
go?
do that shortly.
You have fantastic programs here. I mean, you have summer programs for kids. They're all reasonable prices. The YMCA is probably 3 times that amount of money that we were reading online on how much it is to bring kids to camps here. Why would they go to the YMCA and pay 3 times the amount of money that they could go in Forked River and go to these programs that they have here? I'm trying to figure out what's going to support the YMCA, and the money the YMCA is making on the money coming from the people who are paying to go, do we get a percentage of any of that? Do we make any money on this?
So this
Is there
all-
any,
I don't have answers for this.
is there any upside to the YMCA as far as money goes
We're working on that right now.
for the people here?
We are working on it. You know, we
Well, that's-
presented
you know,
them with
that's
our
what I-
back orders.
you know,
Again,
Working on it.
we're
I
working.
mean, I would love to bring my kids to the YMCA. I lived there 50 years. It was just too much money for us. So, you know, what is the annual cost to join? And can we afford it? That's what I think we should find out.
And I agree with 1,000%, because this is some of the answers we want to get over the next month or so.
You guys have great programs here, and they're
So-
very reasonable.
I don't disagree. And this is why I want to make sure that we get all these answers in the next month or so, so we got plenty of time to hash it out.
It would be nice to know what's going on, and I think that should be put out there,
And-
saying this is what it's going to cost you to go.
On our website, as we get information, it keeps getting updated.
I understand all
And
that.
each time, which I expected a lot of questions tonight, and they're great questions, and each time we're going to get more and more answers and some things we're working on, and that's why I say, I expect a lot of information to come out within the next month or two with a lot of these answers. And I expect people to go and vote with what they
Well,
think is
if
right
the
for them.
information gets out there and the people know where to look and how to look for
And if
it,
you don't get the information you need, you shouldn't be voting for it. Because I'm not telling you to vote for it or not vote for it. Because I'll tell you what, I know myself, if I'm going in and voting on a question,
well,
and I don't
that's
have no
you, and
information
that's
on
me,
it.
but that's not everyone.
And you're exactly correct, because I said this earlier, a lot of people don't pay attention to what they're doing.
And that's the
And that's
problem.
why the questions.
That's for the problem for
Yeah.
people who care and people who pay
Yes.
more taxes than other people.
And that's why we're hoping as much information gets out there. So I said earlier, I'm getting hammered with questions and stuff about it that are people that I never even expected that have been paying attention. And hopefully this will get people energized, let me put it that way, whichever way it goes.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who didn't?
was just gonna say, let the ones that haven't spoken come up.
I'm getting all the ones that haven't spoken.
Because the other hands going back up again.
I don't even get them.
Good evening. Dennis Dodera, Sheffield Place, Walker Neighbor. I didn't come prepared with notes or GIF notes or anything like that. I was hoping to just hear what you had to say. I'm a little disappointed that I haven't heard a lot of what I would hope to have heard. But in answer to a couple of issues, a couple of comments people have made and stuff, for example, the 10 acres you've got sitting idle, put a fence around it, put a dozen of the township pieces of equipment on it, and incorporate it into the current municipal complex. That's, maybe they won't bother you under those circumstances. The other thing I wanted to ask was, if the township attorney or the chief financial officer of the town here, have they analyzed this project and given you advice on whether or not it's legally a good idea, financially it's a good idea, and worst case scenario, what happens if this thing collapses 5 or 10 years down the road? What's the total liability for the community?
We're not under contract yet. We're waiting to see how the vote goes, or the ability to, what was your third question?
The clause if they close, there is going to be,
Yeah, so-
I'm going to say, a clause in there with regards to, I'm going to use the word termination or, you know,
Early
they go
termination.
belly up.
We're- That's being negotiated right now.
Okay. Okay, I'll accept that for the time. The other thing I was going to ask is, have you thought about any other options, thinking out of the box about this project? Are there other ways to implement something like this that takes the liability and the debt and the long-term risk off of something like this?
So that is part of discussions in terms of getting grants like that. None of that stuff is off the table, but I don't.
I'm talking about the model
Yeah,
we're
that's
talking
what I'm
about.
saying. So we're still negotiating some of this stuff. We have not closed the door on, say, stuff like advertising or naming rights and stuff like that, but I don't have any of those details right now. If it goes through, the young lady that mentioned, this is really we're trying to get the pulse whether we should continue this. That's really the best way to phrase it.
I don't want to take a lot of your time. Let me throw one thing up at you. There's a community in North Jersey, Sussex County. They have a tremendous community complex there. It sits on a lake. It has a beautiful 3-story building with restaurants. There's all kinds of community service. They have all of their events throughout the year on the complex. But it's incorporated as an HOA, a homeowners association. If you want to belong to it and you want to take advantage of the services and such, you become a member of the HOA. And you pay dues to the HOA. It doesn't come out of your property taxes. Why not a model like that? For the people who want this complex, let them pay for it. Let them be responsible as members of an association or an HOA to pay for it and to support it over the long term. And the rest of us who can't afford this, who don't want it, but if somebody else wants it, fine, let them pay for it, not us. And what I'm suggesting is start thinking about out of the box. Look at other models. There are other models out there. Call somebody in Sussex County, in Sparta, New Jersey, and ask them the questions. How did they do it? And how do they continue to do it year after year and financially viable at that point? That's all I'm asking. There seems to be a very narrow frame here of what you're envisioning. There's got to be more things that you could consider to make this less onerous to the people of this community. The other thing I would say, while I'm here for the few minutes, why not do something about kill 2 birds with 1 stone? You need a new administrative complex. People have been complaining that for years. Why not incorporate a new administrative building and attach a community center to it with a pool and a bocce ball court and a pickleball court, whatever you want to put in it, and put it west of the Garden State Parkway, just like Berkeley Township. Look at all the traffic we could eliminate if you put the complexes on the west side of the parkway.
That's initially where the high school was supposed to go, and the state of New Jersey said no into the Pinelands, we're not allowed to build out there in the village.
Yeah, and that was what, 40 years ago?
But still,
And the state comes back to you every year and tells you got to do this, you got to do that. Why don't you turn around and tell the state what you're going to do? Why don't you tell them, this is our future, not what you want it to be? This is our community. This is not the state of New Jersey. This is not Trenton, not yet anyway. And it's certainly not Washington, God forbid. So I'm asking you to please think out of the box on something like this. There's got to be other options. There's got to be other ways. If you absolutely insist upon moving ahead with this, regardless of whether you got a non-binding referendum or whatever you call it, think about other possibilities, other ways to maybe, skin this cat. And maybe, like I said, maybe incorporate other wish list items into it. But give us a break, because, like they said, we can't afford something like this. This is going to kill us. It's just too much. All right, thank you.
Yes, that's you.
Be quick. Pat Doyle, Forked River Beach. I didn't intend to speak tonight, but I read the question. This is not ready to be voted upon tonight. It is a skewed, misleading question. It does not contain, I'm sorry, should not be ready to be voted upon tonight. It is a skewed question, very skewed. It is misleading, in my opinion. And you're right, Veronica, there's all the information in the world on the website. A lot of people, I know people that don't even know how to get on the website. Should they? Yes, they should, but they don't. This is what will happen. They're going to walk up to this voter's booth, they're going to read the question in its current form, and they're going to say, oh yeah, I'd like a YMCA, without all information. Please do not vote on this tonight. I don't know how everyone else feels about that. We are not ready for this as a vote. If you're going to vote on it, and I also feel that we're not ready for this, this is a 90-mile-an-hour train to me right now, and it's frightening how fast it's moving. This is a complex commercial transaction, as I pointed out before, and much more needs to be sorted out. You're not going to do it all in a month or two, Bob, I guarantee you. There are 2 amendments, at least, that begs the question here. One amendment is the financial information. I go to Retro Gym every day now. It's done me worlds of good. I'm totally for athletic facilities. I hear a big no on this from everyone I speak to, except people that have no clue that it's going to cost tax dollars. And when you tell them that, a couple of people will say, well, I heard that rumor, and I'm like, not a rumor. And they look at you like deer in the headlights. And that's what's going to happen with this question as currently worded. Number 2 amendment, and this is an important one. Tracking on what you said, Bob. If you don't feel you have enough information, because so much information is lacking, vote no. Put that in writing with the referendum question. If you do not feel you have sufficient information, you can vote no on this question. Those are my 2 comments. Thank you for listening.
Anybody else? You have to wait till the... No.
Hello, Mayor and Council. My name is Steve Quate. I'm in Forked River. I'm a permanent resident for the last 8 years, but I've been coming to this area for 50 years. So I've seen the changes. My first question is, have all of you said how you feel about it yet?
Yes, you weren't here for,
I
you
came in late.
That's okay.
I
yes.
apologize for that.
No problem.
All right. I'm getting the census that most people are against it, not because they don't want a Y or town center or whatever. It's just because of the money, the tax. I'm hoping that you're a ruthless negotiator and you can knock the hell out of this thing, where it wouldn't cost the residents a cent. I'm originally from North Jersey, and we have tons more services than we have in the small town that we're here. One is a rec center, community center, senior center, all that stuff. Seniors could go for nothing. They get fed, they could do whatever they want, and it's a place, a meeting place. It really is a great thing. Have the mayor and council tried to get money from other sources, like donations from businesses? I'm thinking about the power plant, all right? The way I've seen things be done at other towns is they crack in on industry and say, if we don't want this, what are you guys willing to kick in? I don't know if they could come up with the money we're talking about here, but that's how I would approach it. I would approach it from getting money from other sources, and maybe you could tell the Y to either cough up more money or we're not interested.
So all those are options.
I know, so that's why I'm hoping you're.
You are.
I think you are too. I'm a retired businessman, and I've been in negotiations that they kick your butt. I know that. And I think you're all intelligent people, and I think you're trying to do the best for the town. But
Send it out.
I think the lady that was up ahead of me made a very good point in saying that the question should be worded that not only do you want a Y, how much it'll cost you as a resident. And I might be misquoting this too, that over the last 3 years, we had almost 10% increase every year to a grand total of 30% on our taxes. And this would add to that if it went the way it is. So I don't want to see any more tax burden on you guys or us. And is the school settled now? Because that was the majority of the last tax increases.
They're never settled. They're always going to be in need.
Well,
And
I
health
agree with-
benefits are going to go up every year.
Well, you know,
Guys, we're not
as a
gonna-
business person too,
Tell him I said we're not gonna give him-
I think the Board of Ed's got too much power, because as business changed, corporate had to say employees have to contribute. You don't get the benefits you always got before.
Yeah, they do contribute.
Well, okay, I did. The teachers do contribute? I didn't know that. All right. But as much as anybody will come to you and say, we've had all these increases, well, so have we. So everybody's had increases. And it's not fair to say one person's increase is more important than the other person's increase, because we're all under the same burden. And I don't know if I gave any insight that you guys didn't think of before, because I think you did think of it. And is there a possibility of getting money out of businesses?
There's always a possibility.
I mean, you got to wring their necks for the money. And then maybe you could do what you want with the 11 acres, and that's it. So, anyway, thanks for listening.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm patient.
Just state your name.
Mary Ann Shepherd in Forkett River. I just wanted to make one point about the question, because I thought that was the primary reason, the content of the question for tonight, whether or not you would
Yes,
vote on
correct.
it. Yeah, and I guess a lot of people, I see online, and I talk to people, would be under the impression that with the tax increase, that we would not have to pay anything to join the Y. That would be included. But from what I read, other towns can join too. So if the average tax increase is $280 per house, and it's $50, we're going by Tom's River, I guess, because we don't have numbers here, for one person, or $100 for a family, 10% of even a family, if the whole family does join in a household, that's $100. So surrounding towns will actually pay less to go to the Y than we will that we're taking all this risk on with the YMCA and this public-private. You know, so I don't think this is clear at all in this question, that you have to pay additional money and that you'll actually have to pay more than surrounding towns. People, you say that they can vote yes or no, they're not going to read into that. You know,
It
they're
says
going
it
to
costs
assume.
45 million. It says it costs 45 million.
Does it
It
say that we
gives
have
them
to
a
pay a
voice.
fee in this question, or do people will assume that they have raised
No,
taxes?
that should be put out there, and the tax
it's-
raise should be put out there.
And that the surrounding towns actually will end up paying less than the people who live within the town that are assuming the risk. That should be in here too, because this is not clear. So that's all I really have.
Thank you for, yeah, thank you.
I don't know. I've actually got kind of two questions, and I just want to address somebody said about Lifetime Fitness coming in. First of all, it's commercial, so they would have to go on your main drags, okay? And I left Lifetime Fitness 15 years ago, and it was $150 a person a month. So not cost per YMCA is way cheaper. Last meeting, it was mentioned that the town was going to pay the YMCA to run the facility. I didn't kind of hear that today unless I missed it.
No.
Okay, so that's off the table, because that was
was never
mentioned
on the
last
table.
week, and
Never
I...
on the table.
Well, somebody said that last month, that time, and I was like, no. Just want to be clear.
Not from up here.
Okay. The other thing is, I know I had mentioned, emailed Veronica and stuff on this. I have a problem with and I mentioned this before, the cart before the horse on this referendum. Now to find out that the survey was done by the YMCA, which I didn't know. I thought that was a town survey.
It's a town survey.
All right, why aren't we putting out just a referendum to find out if the town wants it in general, before you're going into all this mishmash of mishing our taxes and everything else into the town paying for the facility?
So, I mean, my own opinion on that is that if you just put a yes or no question of whether the town wants a YMCA, it would pass overwhelmingly.
But then you could have started addressing it a little better this way, and maybe have a full committee of people.
We're doing the best we can with the information we have.
But who's on the committee running it? Who's on the committee forming this? Is it just the council?
So the YMCA approached the council, it's not
Okay.
us. I mean,
What about the people in the community? Because I know I
well, no,
volunteered
it's-
over here. Go.
So, I mean, we get input from the CFO, DPW, we get,
But
it's
not a
township.
group of community members is what I'm asking.
No.
Okay. Is that really what you need?
Louise Sampson, Amber Mist Court, Amber Mist Way. Has traffic study done a extensive review on the
They don't do that
impact?
until- They don't do that until we just begin engineering. It's-
Okay, so before voting on this, you're saying it's going to be near the Wawa, this little location
It's
of
coming
this?
off of no,
Behind.
at the light at Adams Street.
Okay, and then, but the traffic safety won't have any say until after? Okay,
Yes, that's normal.
okay, just questioning it because having listened to some of the folks speaking here, it's become a concern because we walk here and it's a
Yeah,
concern.
the problem with a lot of studies, this came up last time too, is it's one thing you learn real quick when you get involved with government. You can't ask questions without a price tag.
Traffic safety is your police officers.
that's not the same kind of
That's
traffic
not the same
study.
thing.
Oh, that's what I'm referring to,
So-
our police officers. Do
Every
you
time-
have a traffic
Right,
safety?
every time we want to run a study or anything, whether it's professional, legal, or whatever, we're trying, even with the money that has been spent, we're trying to keep it down. So, once a decision is made, this is all stuff that would go into the next step, if there is a next step. There may not be.
Okay.
But it's almost, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, but we're trying to, because everything costs.
Okay, I was just wondering if our police officers, if there was a department, that's what I'm saying, if they weighed in. Okay,
it's not the
they
same type
haven't
of
weighed
study.
in. Okay. Committeeman Curatolo?
Yes.
You made a very valid point. I would hate to see local businessmen lose space and some of our areas be vacant because the competition might be putting them out of business. I thank you for thinking about them. I just want, it seems to me like you will be voting on this referendum tonight. Is that correct?
Well, we're up against the time cap, so
No,
we'll
I
go
know,
through
for
the
the August
mayor and
7th
then the
deadline.
rest of us.
I get it.
You've got to get it up to the county.
So the reason why I'm asking that is, back to the referendum question, another resident spoke to this issue. Simply just to make it a little more fairer, where it says, if you vote yes, could you insert three lines that say, this will increase your taxes, period? Would you consider doing that now before you vote?
I don't, yes, I would, that's okay. I will, yeah, we'll take that recommendation.
Yes, and our attorney could possibly come up with a quick.
Is Mr. Connors?
He's thinking, he's got his thinking cap on.
You can, if you want to include that language, and you
Simple
can.
three. I
I'm not
would
saying
really
it's
appreciate
factually
it.
correct. I'm saying it's legal, but I don't know whether it will increase the tax or not. That's for the CFO to decide. But if that's the, please.
Hey,
All right.
Wyatt, please.
It's not for the township attorney to decide what the tax impact is. I can tell you what you can put in the question. If that's factually correct, you can put that in the question, interpretive statement. That's all.
That the cost of the building is a tax impact to the taxpayers.
This will
You
increase.
can word it
Something like that.
in any manner in which you.
You're not saying how
One of the
much.
things tonight was about is because the question that's proposed, because we got a couple options of different things. And if we needed to tweak it, change it, or something like that too, that was part of what we're here for too tonight. Yes, I mean, nothing was set in stone.
So, am I?
Yes, we're going to add it. I
I
believe we're
appreciate
at a
that.
consensus.
And I have to be very honest with you, I'm very impressed with the way you are listening to us. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Whether or not I
Yes.
came here with an open mind.
Right.
All our lifeguards got certified in the Toms River YMCA. We used it all the time. I personally, after having listened to everything, I'll be honest, I will be voting no, but everyone is entitled to their vote. But I think with that 3-word would make it a lot more clearer, and I really appreciate you putting that in. Thank you.
Okay. Is that okay, Veronica? Yes.
Figure out what I'm going to put in there.
Steve, you come back. Wait, Steve, he's going to wait.
Stevie.
Yeah, you.
Tony went home. Come on, Tony.
Steve Borrell, Forked River. I have a lot of questions for the Y and the 3 companies you hired that you paid $163,000. The virtual designs and how it affects the people. Could you have them people here at the next meeting?
I mean, we
Well, the contracts with the companies that we did for all the studies have ended.
Yeah.
They've ended.
They what?
The contracts have ended. They're done. We paid them. Their contracts are over with. They've provided us with their final report.
Well, then someone up here has got to go over it, or should go over it. I want to know what we spent $92,000 on for visual, look, I'll bring it up next meeting. I want to, before you guys vote on it, number one, this is incomplete. It's untruthful and illegal. It doesn't comply with the law, and I could see that only looking at it for 10 minutes. I'm not going to tell you why you're wrong, but you all should know what you got to add to this. But you are in compliance with the 45 million. The only thing is you forgot to put the word initial in front of it, because initially it is 45 million. You're not telling them that it's going to be another $50, $60 million in interest over the 30 years. So that is a very dishonest way to put that on there. Also, in the back part, they went and asked you guys, and you guys said, if we vote no, you're going to vote no. Put it right on there. If you vote no and not in favor of the township issuing general obligation bonds in this amount of $45 million, the YMCA will not be built. That's how you finish that sentence. Now, the other thing, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, if you do that, it's my opinion that it violates the provisions of the non-binding referendum, because now you're making it binding.
Well, you should have an amendment to it that explains everything, that when people go to vote, they understand it's not just 45 million.
Steve, you're talking over the answer.
I've rendered my opinion in the governing body. It must be non-binding.
Okay. The other thing that you didn't put in here, where you say that you're exploring a partnership means that you share. They're not sharing nothing. They're going in there lease-free. And that also, if it's not in the explanation of the vote, it should be on a separate sheet to make that real clear. Because that's the backbreaker right there, that you guys are letting them go lease-free. I researched, there's 30 YMCA's in New Jersey. They either own the building or they pay a lease. I can't understand how you all are hoodwinked that easily by them throwing this at you, and you're taking the whole bait, hook, line, and sinker, where they get a free building. And their big shots will prosper more. They'll probably give themselves some more actual raises. I do have a couple other questions about the referendum, because, number one, it doesn't comply with the law the way I read it. Okay, why do critics oppose the project? And this is from off the internet using different websites. There's a double pay jeopardy that everyone talks about, where it is expected to fully fund it. It's going to be $96 million. We're going to pay for that and pay for an annual or monthly fee. The ballot must legally include certain things that I do not read on here. So before you guys vote on it, we're going to challenge this thing as it's worded. If you leave it the way it is, it's not in compliance with the law, even though I do respect the attorney.
Stephen, thank you. I appreciate those comments. But let me ask you a question from a practical standpoint.
Go ahead.
Let's say you file a prerogative writ action in court, which you have 45 days to do, and you're successful.
Right.
Then the question doesn't even get on the ballot, and the governing body can make a decision anyway.
Okay, so I'm going to keep
So
my
there's
mouth
nothing
shut.
more non-binding than that.
I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even going to tell. I'm not even going to tell you what I know.
I would just suggest that if you're successful in getting the question removed from the ballot, you're doing a disservice to the public, because they won't even have the question to vote on.
Exactly right.
I'm just being practical. I could appreciate the difference of opinion, including my own. I really do. I respect that. But I'm just saying, from a practical standpoint, because if you have a number of people in this room, we can all come up with a way to word it. Believe me, we can come up with a way to word it. And everybody would be right.
If you don't want it, you want the question.
Yeah, but you know what? That's kind of sinister, because you already spent $163,000, and you're like blowing that off like it's chicken feed. You're saying, well, because we didn't do our homework and you vote that way, the fact of the matter is, you already spent $163. We got to see one little picture over here. We don't even know what the other two companies did for the $23,000, $24,000 you paid them. They should have been here and did a presentation. For all that money, $92,000, them people were here. But we didn't know that. You know why? Because I asked the question, how much has we spent? And no one knew. But right after the meeting, it comes out in the paper that we did spend $163,000, right after the meeting. So between me asking it and then after the meeting, you knew. To me, that's kind of
You guys
dishonest.
take 5. Anybody else?
That's 5 minutes already? I'm going to count other people because you're prejudiced against me, especially you. I got the fastest 5 minutes. People been up here 10, 15 minutes.
I just had to get you upset. That's the only reason. I have only reason in mind.
Quiet, please.
Hello,
State your name.
Linda Miller, Forkett River. I like that word practical, because this tax increase is not practical.
Thank you for your comment.
Well, let's let Tony come back up.
Thank you. Once again, John Saladino, Farnham Court, Forkett River. Just one last question. If this referendum goes on the ballot and it passes, are you obligated to build it? Because it sounds like there's still quite a bit of negotiating, and
Correct.
and do you actually have that much, do you have enough time to complete in all the negotiations between now and?
So we wouldn't begin any type of contractual agreements until after the referendum. There's no point.
Okay, but would you be required, if it passes, to build
No.
It's
some
non-binding.
sort of recreation
It's
center?
non-binding.
No. Okay, okay, thank you.
Non-binding.
All right, what's the final iteration, Mayor?
This, yeah.
This is similar on the referendum. I want to go with Miss Wisconsin and Pat back there. Linda Capitan. I hear concerns about we're going too early to try and get this in November. I like the idea of this step approach. Somehow, the referendum, giving the information you need, should we move forward? That gives you more time to get the questions that we're all wanting to get answered before we decide to spend the money. Is that a possible way to approach this? Can you make it a step referendum? In other words, step one, here's what we know. Based on this, should we move forward? I don't know if that's legal, but that doesn't bind us to have to make a decision when we don't know information. We have more information forthcoming. This is what we know now. Based on this, do you think we should move forward, spend more money on whatever you need to do your proper research? I know how you develop projects. It kind of splits the baby, gives us another chance.
But again, madam, you have the number, 45 million.
But that's not enough information to say yes to this referendum, because I really think you should deal with the people that are going to read this for the first time, and they're not going to see it's going to increase their taxes, though it should seem
We're
pretty
adding
obvious.
it. We're adding
Like I
it
said,
tonight.
We're adding it
I'm
tonight.
working on.
You're absolutely, that will be new language.
Explanatory statement.
I just don't want to get in a place where people say yes, and we go ahead, and sign a deal.
We still have the opportunity, I mean,
But what's our way?
so just for example, if they came back and said, if we said 45 million and the price came out to be 100 million, then we're not going to do
Do you
it.
come back to the voters, or do you
No,
make
I
that
think we can
decision?
make that decision to not spend $100 million.
So we only get this vote on the whole matter
Yes.
once.
Yes.
That's why I think it should have
And-
as much information as possible.
You know, here's the thing, it's a non-binding. But, okay, let's just.
What does that mean to
Wait,
me?
We're not bound by whatever the results are. If it goes down.
So
we-
you, if
wait a minute, let me finish,
we
let me
say
finish.
no, you can go ahead.
Yes,
If we say yes, you can say we don't want to do it.
Correct.
But here's the thing,
Quiet,
we could
please.
walk away from this at any point in time. We don't like how the negotiations go after the referendum or in the next couple of weeks, we can say no. We can walk away from this.
But we will have given you the okay to spend, if
You'll
voted
allow-
yes,
you-
$45 million.
What that says, it says the community wants, the majority of the community.
Yes.
Or the majority of the community does or does not want us to go forward, okay? That's what we follow,
Then-
okay? And let's say we're talking to them in January, and all of a sudden, something comes out of the blue, we can say, go, we're out.
Well, then tighten the language up. Do you want us to go forward? That's all I'm saying.
And the same thing goes forward with the negotiations we're having right now.
Yeah.
If
You know,
something goes awry between now and November, even though the question may be on the ballot, if we don't like it, we're gonna tell you.
Right. Let me just-
With that, remember, it's a non-binding referendum. So say we don't like what they're presenting in the end, and the majority of the town says, yes, we want it. Guess what? Then the non-bonding works in the other direction.
Right.
Because we do not, if we don't like the terms that we finally get them to hash out, we don't have to do this. We can at any time pull the plug.
But if we don't like
Let me
it,
just-
it's too late, because we've said yes.
Well, if you don't like it, you said no.
Let me
No,
just say
what
this.
if I say yes because I want you to move forward to get more
Hold on.
information? Now, there is no other
Kim
referendum.
just said, even if this says yes in November, just say, there's still always a lot of work to be done.
Of course.
And if we don't like what we see and the direction it's going, we can pull the plug at any
And
time.
But I can't. So you
Oh, wait.
continue on your,
But that's.
we give you the next go-ahead.
That's what
That's what I'm
we're
trying to
elected do.
understand.
That's what
This
we're
is
elected-
my
Let me
last
just-
voice.
Let me just say this.
The referendum is my last
I've been in
voice.
negotiations all my life.
As have I.
You never negotiate in public, ever, ever. You don't.
All I want to know is this my last voice on the matter? Once I say yes to this referendum, I have no voice proceeding forward or canceling. There's no
It's
mechanism.
non-binding. If you say yes, if the majority of the town votes yes.
I don't
we
need
have-
just-
Wait a minute, let me finish.
The yes vote is the
Let me finish,
majority.
please. We have the right to go forward, okay? Even if they said no, we could have 5 of us say, you know what, the heck with what the town says, we could go forward, okay? But but everybody said up here we wouldn't. So that's where we're at.
Okay, thank you. I'm all the way in the back, all the way in the back.
Well,
Being that you brought up that wordage change.
Quiet, please.
Being that you brought up that wordage change, can it reflect a percentage of increase on the taxpayers?
No, we're adding language, period, that's it.
All right, thanks.
State your name.
Steve Post, Manchester Avenue, Forked River. One thing I want to know is the 45 million, is that your GMP for this building?
The estimate for the
45 million, that's your GMP, so that's it. Guaranteed maximum price. You guys are not to exceed that. You have no intentions on exceeding it.
It would only authorize us to borrow $45 million.
Yeah, so
bond,
if you
whatever.
borrow the 45 million and you go into construction costs, right? And then you always end up with addendums to the construction. Something happens, costs go up, you have construction issues, you go into added costs, that can exceed 500,000, sometimes $1 million. You don't know where it's gonna go. Are you guys prepared to come up with the extra funding?
Just,
for that?
if it comes out to like an extra 100,000, probably. If
Well,
it comes out to
100,000
like
is like
100 million,
nothing,
then
but-
probably not.
Yeah, but you won't know that till you get
Exactly,
into
we're not gonna know
construction.
until, exactly, we're not gonna.
Once you want the bid, we will know.
Yes, we can't know
You don't
that
have to
today.
award the bid.
How in the world
You
am I
don't have to
supposed?
then borrow the money.
I can't know a bid today based on tomorrow's prices. I can
Yes.
estimate.
No, I understand that. So you're just taking, you have to take a guess, an educated
correct.
guess where you're gonna land.
Correct.
Right now, I understand that. So you don't have a preliminary agreement with them then?
No.
Right now, none, you're just negotiating through the terms. And then once you go through this, because it's non-binding, you'll take it to the next step?
Correct.
And you're hoping it goes further. Are you considering the salaries of these employees? Because you have.
They're not, they're not our employees.
So they're gonna employ the employees with the tax dollar?
No, the money that we're borrowing is for us to build the building.
building.
What they do on the inside is up to them, and they have to figure out how to pay for that.
They have to figure out.
That's how they do it by their membership fees and stuff.
Okay, all right, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand like
understood.
where the money's getting allocated.
And just so you know, they're predicting their payroll will be $2.4 million. Now, will all of it go to Lacey residents? Probably not, okay? But that's what they're predicting. So let's say 70%, that's a little over $1.5 million, which is going to be coming into Lacey's economy. Not
Okay.
bad.
So in your agreement terms, you're going to have a clause in there that states that they're bound to so many years? Because, I mean, if they don't meet payroll, right?
Well,
Then what do they do?
we'll have an early termination penalty in there for it.
Okay, so you'll negotiate that
Yeah.
as well. All right, Veronica, you had stated that, which bothered me a lot by this, because I have a family member that passed away from opioids. And you had said that the grant money, you get approximately $50,000, or you had $50,000 for 3 years straight. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we, like this year, we're due to get a little bit shy of 50,000. Like I
Okay.
said, it's a sliding scale.
In pre-con, how much was spent in pre-con based on those grants that were allotted to you for the opioid? So the opioid money, the grants, because you had stated that a good portion of the pre-con that was already done on that piece of property was spent by
No pre-construction
granting.
work was done with the opioid money.
So you had
It was
no
a marketing-
geo,
a
no
community
geo, no
marketing-
soil testing?
No.
No, none of that. You can't use
Okay,
the opioid money
okay,
for that.
exactly.
No.
Okay.
It
Yeah, I
was-
didn't understand where that money went, because, I mean, if we tore through $150,000 towards anything dealing with this YMCA right now, how many kids have died in the last 3 years due to opioids, right? Where that money could have been already used towards something else. And the way I looked at it is that that money was spent towards the YMCA on a hunch that this is going to go through. You know, I mean, think about it. It's 150 grand. How many, listen, we don't know how many lives could have been saved, but we do know how many kids have died. You know? I mean, I just feel like the spending of that money towards this YMCA is totally unethical, in my view. Okay? If it was granted specifically for that, and the money was used for something else. Now, granted, the intent was good in hopes that the YMCA goes through and there's programs for opioid. But if this doesn't go through, how many lives were spent to try to make a YMCA work? When we could have probably have found that money, like the gentleman said, through funding through the businesses and getting donations for the 150 grand. I mean, if that were the case, if I knew that, I would have wanted to streak to the businesses and try to scrape up the 150 grand in representation of you guys.
So again, this is just trying to get more activities to, as Pete said before, to keep youth away from any, I mean, that's the idea.
I understand, but there are ways of doing things the proper way, and there's ways of getting from point A to point B quick, all right? I understand what you guys, listen, I've been here a couple times. I know you guys have good intentions, but I feel like when we started this building, I mean, the first big meeting we had was this building and how it needed help. It was in disarray. We talked about building a new town hall with the community center. It sounded great. It just wasn't in the cards at that point. I mean, I agree. This building needed a lot of work. It still does. But I feel like we're moving forward. We're always searching for something. I just don't understand what we're searching for. If you want to we have this building that's in disarray. If the tax dollar goes up by $500 a year, right? That money could be allocated, the $45 million, in fixing this building. The money could be allocated towards the high school sports. And the whole, like the roofing.
We can't have anything, they're two separate units, we can't.
Okay, I'm mistaken.
Make sure I
I'm
understand.
mistaken.
You're telling me you're in favor of this committee going out and borrowing or bonding $45 million to fix this building and the police? The tax is going to be the same.
I am just making a point that the focus is on a community center, right? All right, we're into it for $45 million on this building. The taxes go up $500. What do we do here? What do we do with this building? Just think about it. If this ceiling opens up, right? And how are you guys going to handle this building moving forward? We can't paint the railings in the front. We can't do anything unless you have a premeditative alternative that nobody knows about where you're going with the why at, or with this building after that, right? I mean, I'm just confused by it all. It just seems like we're kind of like scattered all over the map instead of sticking to certain priorities. The YMCA, are we going to make money on that? Do we know? Are we unsure if we're going to make anything on that? All right, what if we don't cover the costs on that? Are we now in the hole with the Y and this building? I think there's like just a lot to consider. I think we're going in depth, too deep with another project before we have this one resolved here. This is a waterfront community, okay? Most of the people during the summer months are drawn to the water. They're not going to be drawn to YMCA pools. They're going to be drawn to the bay. Your bayfront is everything in this town.
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Everybody wants to go again. Yeah, Joe.
Oh, God, maybe we'll water down the alcohol.
Joe Gilmore, Forked River. Now, you want to do 45 million for a Y that they don't have to pay for. Now, my question is, how long have we needed a new police station?
Depends on.
It's been a while. And I would say a police station would help everybody or would represent 100% of the town, whereas a Y is not. It's going to be a select few. It's going to be a low percent. So I would just think if you do the Y for 45 million, and then your police station has to be replaced, how much is that going? I mean, you're a builder. You should have an idea, right?
It depends on it depends on whether you're building a new police station or trying to rehab the old one. It's complicated.
Well, isn't right now the old one too small? It's been there for how many years?
I'm not in favor of owning any property on Lacey Road. We don't get tax money out of it. So.
All right, well, how about then plan building a police station back there?
That is, again, the police station belongs on that property, a new police station. It has been a topic of discussion.
Yeah, well,
It did, so this was in the works. The Y stepped in. This is just a focus right now. I'm not saying that would be a focus later.
Okay, yeah, but
I don't know. So
everybody's focusing on taxes.
I
But I'm
understand.
saying if you do a Y for 45
understand.
million, and then you have to do a police station, that's more bonded money.
So again, I can't.
That's more taxes.
So again, I can't anticipate timeframes or, there's a lot of moving pieces with this stuff.
Yeah,
So
well,
I know, but so all I'm saying is the Y approached us. So everybody's has a chance, opportunity to vote on the Y.
You have a lot of pieces to the puzzle. The puzzle should be halfway done by now.
It would have been halfway done if we would have went forward with it 2 years ago. We would have had a new police station if we went forward with
That
it.
was only, what, 65 million?
But
Yeah, but
That was 3 billion.
Yeah, I understand.
The problem back then is like you stood up here and you said, the community hall, we had to get rid of it because it would cost millions to fix.
No, wait, sorry, so, yeah, no,
And then you
that's,
said the police station
We're
was
losing-
going to cost millions.
we're-
This building was going to cost so.
It is, it's been-
And why don't you take care of things?
because
Why don't you take care of things?
because they're major capital projects. Any major capital projects, everybody shows up
If
and
you
yells at us.
maintain along the way, there is no major
no.
capital project.
Hold on, to retrofit this building alone?
Yeah,
Now, yes.
2 years ago, or 3 years
You
ago.
could have done it a while
We're looking
ago.
at it.
Building's been here a while.
$35 million.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the police station. So it's not cut and dry, just go fix the police station. It's complicated.
Yeah, but why don't you take care of things? That's my main
We
question.
are, we sit.
No, Vic, no.
We are.
I know you, no, you don't take care of things.
Yes, we do.
I just told you, we're redoing the dam at Third Lake, we're redoing Bamber Lake Dam, we're paving Haynes Street and putting sidewalks in, we're paving Penn Avenue, we're fixing street end bulkheads, we're doing stuff.
You're doing, yeah, you sold a building that was gifted to the town people. The property, the building was gifted to the town people and you sold it.
So,
Because you wanted to buy the old Knights of Columbus building. All right, never mind, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Okay. Kevin, don't yell at us.
You know, I get.
I know, you get fired up. You get fired up.
I don't need
You get fired up.
Yes.
Let him pass.
That's 100% correct, because I love this town.
State your name for the record.
Kevin Flynn, Barnegat Pines. So Steve, I asked you, you said if they said the people voted no, that's how you vote. Not too long after that, you said, well, if it's not overwhelming, what's that
I
mean?
said that. I said it.
Yes,
No.
you did. Oh, yeah.
No. If it gets voted down, I'm not voting for it.
Okay, I just want to get that.
I don't think I said that.
Yes, you did. You said the overwhelming, unless it's overwhelming.
No, well, it was
We
the
can
context.
we go back to the
Yeah,
tapes
all right.
eventually, but watch it. You said overwhelming. That's why I'm
If
back.
the majority doesn't want it, we're not doing it. There.
So one vote
Yeah, one vote.
is the majority?
Yes.
Okay. And Pete, stop blaming the employees about cost, because you said about health costs and everything.
No, you guys.
No,
are-
no, wait,
you're getting
earlier you
hurt
said
by
about
this
cost,
state.
about taxes going up and everything else. You work for the county.
You and I both pay a lot.
Ah,
for
exactly.
healthcare.
So
Yeah,
don't always,
no, I'm not
don't always
blaming-
blame the employees about
You
cost.
misunderstood. It's the state that is raising that, and
The
you're
state's,
paying
the
it.
state's killing everybody.
Right, not Pete Giartolo, the
No,
state.
or any of your employees here. It's the state that's
Exactly
killing
right,
everybody.
exactly right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Rich.
After this,
What'd I do?
listen, after this, do you want to read the question now with the new information?
Excuse me, loving this tonight, democracy in action. This is wonderful.
Please, people.
All right, there's too much noise in the lobby. Oh, now I'll be able to hear you.
All right, now, as I said, this is democracy in action. I love it. This is what we should see at every township committee meeting. Maybe I'll be able to infuse people to keep coming like this. This is great. A couple things. I have a question. This is a very serious question about this. If the Y doesn't make their budget, say like Tom's River had to kick in $600,000 this year, is that going to be thought about in this contract, that we're not going to be contributing a penny toward their operating expenses?
The contract will be negotiated with all the parameters that we're listening to.
And that is not something that's been on the table from either party, that if that happens, there's been no mention of that from the Y, that if that happens, the town has to cover their losses.
Right, we're gonna
And
negotiate.
we are well aware of that.
Okay,
There will be
so,
an early exit penalty if they decide to leave before the lease is
yeah,
up.
but then we've got this building, and what are we going to do with
Well,
it?
that's
the other
that's the whole
problem.
thing. There will be a penalty they will have to pay us.
But there is no kick-in from, additional kick-in from the taxpayers if they come up.
Like
with
Tom's
costs.
River just did?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
that's,
right.
that's in the agreement that Tom's River has with them.
Yeah, I understand, and they do negotiate that usually. A lot of towns, if they don't make, because I was reading about this,
Right.
okay?
Yeah,
So that,
and I have seen that myself.
right.
We've,
Okay.
we've talked about that pretty much from the beginning, when we started all this,
Mm-hmm.
that if, God forbid, the YMCA decides to pull out, which could happen,
happened, of course.
then what happens? Then
Right.
well, there's got to be a penalty that they're going to have to reimburse us or pay us or,
Right.
or what.
Right. So I thought it was very interesting tonight when we listened to a person come up with a synopsis, which I didn't really think about, but actually is very logical. The taxpayers of Lacey are going to be paying more than the surrounding towns if they wanted to use our YMCA, because we are paying for the building, right? And we're going to also have to pay for membership, and that is totally unfair. Totally unfair. Now, it would be one thing if you were telling us that this was going to be Lacey's YMCA, and it was only for residents of Lacey Township, but you can't really do that, I believe, right? So that also is very, very not, it's just not viable for the taxpayers of Lacey. For the people in all the surrounding towns, it's a great idea. Like, sure, why not have it come here? The other thing, too, is that I just want to mention this. Between here and LBI, we have the Toms River YMCA. Much better facility is St. Francis, which I've actually used. Terrific. I mean, they have a great mental health services. They have terrific sports programs. Their aquatics are fantastic. I mean, so really, folks, I mean, it's not like we're having to drive an hour anywhere for like to get a swimming pool. And I'm really hoping that with my continued pressure, that you guys will clean up Deerhead Lake. I think it used to be beautiful, and I don't know why it's been allowed to go the way it is.
Rich, it couldn't pass.
Well, it could
just
pass, you have to
couldn't
drain,
pass.
I know it has to be done, you have to drain the lake.
We have
We have to
three
redo
lakes.
the dam.
We have
Yes,
three beautiful lakes that never exceed. Three.
right.
That's more than
Yeah,
anybody else.
But quite frankly.
There's only 8 in the county.
I understand, but when I moved here, that lake was a swimmable lake.
Yes.
Okay? When I bought my taxes, I paid my house, both that lake and Lake Barnegat were swimmable. It isn't any longer. And the mistake that was made is because it was incompetence with the way the dam was built. It wasn't built
There's
high
a lot
enough.
of underlying issues in
You
that
can take
lake.
that up with the state of New Jersey, because they
Okay,
allow it.
no.
And listen, I agree with you, and it all comes down to funding, right?
Right.
So that other priorities take place each budget year, whether it's paving streets, buying equipment, enhancing the parks, than it does to do an exploratory study to determine what is wrong with the lake and what needs to be done with the lake.
We'll put the money into that lake and it'll never pass. I'll get the environmental health coordinator in here to say, he wrote me an 8.5 by 11 on why it won't pass.
Okay, you know what?
Let me just say,
I have a question
I know
for
you're
you.
sentimental
I think,
about it,
no,
but
no,
it
no.
will
I think,
never work.
basically, I don't think the Ocean County Health Department should be doing the testing because you work there, quite frankly. I think it should be done by an independent.
I don't do it. The Ocean
Well,
County Utilities
Sir,
Authority does it.
I understand how it works. It just looks funny to me.
Okay.
And I also don't understand how Deerhead Lake could be polluted and that water flows into Lake Barnegat and you're telling me that that is clean. None of us believe it. It's just
Okay.
nonsense.
let me just say
Go
this
ahead.
real quick. Had the state listened to Casey Parker when they designed that damn thing, guess what? We're not talking about it.
Right.
I have talked to
He-
Casey.
He, because of the size of the horseshoe was so much
Yeah,
larger
yeah.
than the original one there, he knew that it was gonna change the flow of the
Flow of the water,
water,
you're right.
right? And he wanted to go up a block higher. Dam safety, and that's the name of the
It's
agency of
not
the
just the
state.
dam. It'll never pass.
He wanted to do it, a higher thing, and we've since talked to the former director of dam safety, and he kind of agreed that, yeah, you guys are probably right. But there are other things that do need to be done to
Right.
that lake to make it, like, again, switch all of the drains
Right.
going into the lake like they did at the second lake.
Right.
So there are multiple things. So you need to hire an engineering firm to do some exploratory
Yes,
work.
I know.
And to do something like that, so.
But I think that should be a
it's not-
priority.
listen, It's not
Priority,
like
we
it's
got
not
3
on my
lakes
list.
already.
It is on my list.
on the list.
Ask
It's always
Casey.
been on the list.
I'll
I
never
don't get the
vote for
votes
it.
Yes, but I am making
You
this
can
my
put it on your
mission.
list all you
And
want.
I will talk about this at every meeting until it is
You know
done.
what, Rich? Do yourself a favor. Ask Casey how much it would cost to fix Deerhead Lake.
I don't care how much it costs. That's the extra thing. It's not going to be $96 million, I can guarantee you that.
Don't be surprised.
Right, it won't be, no, it won't be.
They gotta tear up the whole damn dam and redo it.
No,
No,
no, just.
they could build
All right,
from
we need
on.
to move on.
Thank you,
About that
I'm done,
tonight.
okay?
Thank you.
We need,
Okay. Barry?
God, come on, guys, let us get to this. Yes.
State your name.
Certainly. Barry Bender, I'm not saying anything else.
Thank you for your comments.
Gotcha, Steve. Many moons ago, I was on, I guess, what would you call it? It's a commission. You were the liaison. Economic Development Commission. Does that exist? Did they have any input to any of this? Because, do they exist? Would it be a good idea to have them exist again?
Well, you don't have
For this type of thing, because I remember when I was on, we talked about
You could
various,
say it, but it's, at this point, it's too late in the process. at this
but I'm
point.
saying for the future.
We can look into it. I get the details of this.
We have
I could
trouble
tell you
finding
why, I
volunteers
could
for
tell
the
you why
boards all
that
the
doesn't
time.
work, but I don't.
You couldn't find volunteers for it?
Volunteers.
Really? No one
Because you have to
volunteered?
have a certain class of individuals, just
Right.
like on the planning board, and you had nobody willing to want to do it.
Yeah.
The environmental commission.
My opinion is it would be basically a place where you would start earlier.
We can look at it.
Yes.
I don't want to get into whole details, but I can't help it. So it was recommended by the economic, when I was on that board, to sell the Wharton House property, if you recall.
Yeah, I remember that.
You were right there.
I was right there.
Okay.
Yes. I wasn't hot on it.
Anyway, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay. Just have to get to the question.
I'll be very quick. Robert Samuel. Just a couple things discussed, because we were talking about amendments to this. I just want to reiterate. I think on top of mentioning about the potential tax hike that this will incur under the yes, directly after that, we should mention that non-Lacey residents will have access to this as well, and that you may have to pay a membership on top of the taxes to actually go as a Lacey resident. And under no, it was mentioned before, but I want to make sure it's noted, that we should put that voting no, a reason could be that you don't feel you have enough information. That should be strictly there. It was mentioned before, I'm just mentioning again, I think that's very important. You literally said that that should be a reason someone should vote no.
Yeah, sometimes what we can put into a question and not put into a question, and our feelings are, shame of it is sometimes even legally is two totally different animals. I don't know.
But that's not, I mean, to say you feel that that's a potential reason to vote no.
Yeah, we can't write we gotta be careful on how we write a question on whether it sways things, so.
It must be concise, okay? You're adding a lot of wording, and I do appreciate your
We're going- yeah,
position with
sorry.
regard to this. But when you start adding a lot of wording, you're just gonna make it even more confusing.
But how is that confusing? This
Statute
is, I mean, these are
requires it to be
pretty,
concise.
and I didn't even
Well,
say
what's
that it will incur it, or it's saying it potential.
Well, you don't
And
have
these
to
are the
list all
main-
the
these are the
reasons why you
main-
might wanna vote
But these
no.
are the main points that have been reiterated.
Again, we're
Just
going
saying
to
of
add.
consideration.
I think we're going to add, we're going to add vote on additional language regarding property taxes.
In the question, right.
That's it.
And then I just want to, because it's mentioned before, I know, Peter, you right away said, hey, whatever it goes, I'm going to vote with the people.
Yeah.
I've heard several times, many things are on the website.
We're in the no.
Just a suggestion, you could put it right on the flash news, say, council members say, hey, if the people say it, there you go. We'll go with the people.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's say I have some type of mental breakdown and I vote against the will of the people. I'll fire myself from this desk.
Okay.
I'll walk off.
But
I am not going against what the people of this town do. Anyone else can do whatever the hell they want. I'm not doing that.
Okay, I'm not even
Hold it.
saying
I
all of
can't
you
be any
do
more
it. I'm
clear
just
than that.
saying, you know what, you always hear from DC, always
I know, they-
posting saying,
I'm
hey,
not
I'm gonna do
duplicitous.
this way, I'm gonna
Okay,
do.
so we all said that, we all said we're going to follow the will of the people. We all live here as well, so we've answered all these questions.
Yes.
Any further questions?
No, that's it.
Our lives are
All
here.
right, let's
We're-
go.
This isn't like Washington, where people fly in and they spend part of it. We grew up here. We got roots here. We'd be fools to go opposite of what the people do, because we got to live with them. We got to have friends, dinner
What
with
are you
them
going,
and stuff
what
like
are you
that. So-
going like this for? You don't think
Then-
that we're telling the truth?
No, I'm just,
So you're new here. you
We've
know.
lived here our whole lives, and we
We've
are going to
lived-
go
so was
with the
my wife.
people. We're going to go with the people. Whatever they say,
One
we're
of the
going
guys
to go with
with the
them.
biggest patience back there, I got to deal with.
Patience?
Not patience,
Passion. Passion. Yeah, please,
You
get the
know.
word right.
I got to deal with constantly, which I enjoy. But I'll tell you what, you think I'm going to go the other way? Because he's only one of a million.
I just have to suggest it,
You just-
because it was mentioned that you can't put it in the resolution, it would make it non-binding, so.
Yes.
They're, mentioning there's other platforms, so.
Well, Thank
Thank
you.
you for
We
your comments.
appreciate it.
Anything else? Can I get a motion to close the floor?
Close the floor.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Veronica, so Resolution 2026-249, authorizing the county clerk to place a non-binding referendum question on the November election ballot. Veronica, would you please read the new statement with the revisions?
Yes, I will read the new public question plus the explanatory statement and what a yes vote and no vote means. So we're changing the word shall at the very beginning to should. Should the Township of Lacey be authorized to issue bonds in an amount of $45 million for the construction, furnishing, and equipping of a new community recreation facility to be operated in partnership with the YMCA, providing recreational, aquatic, wellness, youth, senior, and community programming to be paid through municipal debt service in an annual operating budget, and the amount will be financed through local property taxes. That is the question. Then you have the explanatory statement. So I don't know if everybody has theirs. So the first two paragraphs where it says currently the Township of Lacey is exploring a partnership with the YMCA of the Jersey Shore to construct an approximate 63,000 square foot recreation facility within the boundaries of Lacey Township. The project would include, but not limited to, indoor aquatic facilities, including competitive and recreational pools, fitness and wellness facilities, gymnasiums and indoor sports courts, childcare and youth development space, senior citizen programming space, multi-purpose community meeting rooms, walking, running, track, and wellness areas, administrative and support facilities, parking, utilities, site improvements, and related infrastructure. The township share of the project would be financed through the issuance of general obligation bonds in an amount of $45 million, subject to all applicable laws and regulations. The township and the YMCA will work cooperatively together to ascertain outside funding sources through discretionary funds, grants, and benefactors to reduce the general obligation bonds. So a yes vote means you favor the Township of Lacey proceeding to borrow the $45 million through the issuance of general obligation bonds to construct a new community recreation facility in partnership with the YMCA. If approved and the Township Committee subsequently decides to proceed, the Township would own and participate in the development of the facility pursuant to a negotiated agreement with the YMCA, which would be responsible for operating the facility and providing recreational, aquatic, wellness, youth, senior, and community programming. The ownership of the facility will be the Township of Lacey. The final operating responsibilities, membership structure, maintenance, obligations, and public access provisions will be established in a formal agreement approved by the Township Committee. The cost of the bonds will be repaid over time through municipal debt service in the annual operating budget, and the amount will be financed through local property taxes. A no vote means the voters are not in favor of the Township of Lacey issuing general obligation bonds in the amount of $45 million. That is the question.
So, good, motion?
Move it.
Good, second?
That's a motion to approve the question as well.
Motion to approve the question as read.
Move it.
Second.
Resolution, right.
Yeah,
For the resolutions.
249.
Should I
Roll
read
call.
the okay.
So Tim moved it.
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Peggy seconded.
Yes.
Please.
Please.
Yes.
Mr. Curatolo?
Yes.
Mr. LeRae?
Yes.
Mayor Kennas?
Yes. Motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kill the tape.